Yo, greetings, everyone. Do I sound good? Everything sound okay? At first, I want to apologize. Oh my god. I basically just lazied myself into doing a live review. I know some people like the live reviews, but I know that probably a lot of people miss me doing regular reviews, and I don't know. I had 2 days in a row where I had two job interviews, and I just wasn't in the mojo for doing a regular review today. I don't know why, but I don't know. I have really bad work ethic. But also for people who have been around here for live reviews for a fair amount of time, I thought of an idea because I know like the purpose of doing a live stream, right, is to interact with the audience. And usually in the live reviews, I kind of just ramble on for a bit, right? I have my shtick, I have my little notepads right here. Would it be preferable for me to like let's say like I basically just read all of my points as fast as humanly possible? Would that be preferable over doing my normal thing? Because I don't know, like I got some notes here, baby, for this chapter. We'll see. Anyway, how's everyone doing? You believe Blackbeard has an attack called Black Room? I mean, I believe that. Moria had Black Box. So lazy much? Yeah, oh my gosh. It's the bane of my existence. Nothing's more lazy than doing live reviews. How did my job interview went? I nailed that job interview. Um, I nailed it. I nailed it. So it started off. We just did some Q&A. I did the Q&A. These guys are pretty good. Two of the three managers interviewed me, and they're kind of my kind of people. We started talking. We talked a little bit about sports, got along, and then we did a test call because I applied to be a help desk coordinator, which is basically just the guy that you call whenever you have a problem, and then they answer you on the phone. So, tech phone people. And I did a mock phone call, and I did really good on that. And then I did a words per minute typing test because they have to know that you can actually type like a human being. And apparently, I don't really know how good this is, but I am apparently the fastest typer in the entire building because I beat all of them. I typed 84 words a minute, and apparently that beat the next highest person by 9 words. So they were really impressed with that for some reason. So then afterwards, we started talking Q and A's. I asked them some questions, and they said that they would get back to me whether or not I got the job by Monday. And 2 hours after I got home from the interview, I got a call from them saying that they basically I got approved for the position and that they're going to quote unquote make me an offer on Monday. So we'll see where that's going. It sounds pretty good. The job itself, it doesn't pay much, but we'll see what their offer is. Maybe I get paid a little bit more. But honestly, at this point in time, I just want a fucking job. I thought 84 was sort of normal. I think 84 is like I don't think it's normal. Most people I know don't actually type 84 unless you're actually proficient. Um, I think anything above like a 70 is actually fairly fast. But for people that are kind of computer geeks, I think that's normal among computer geeks. And I believe a lot of the people that go there or they're at the company, they're like maybe a few years older than me to like 10 to 15 years older than me. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm proud of you. Oh, Dalton Kun. I appreciate it, bro. Finger blast that keyboard. I tried and I did. Good another interview went well. Yeah. Yeah. I thought I was going to be nervous because it's weird. I'm like really sporadic where sometimes I can get really nervous when I've been in the same situation before because I don't know, it's just me under pressure. But those guys made me feel comfortable, so I didn't it wasn't like a hostile environment. So any nervousness that I had didn't make me screw up. So I kind of just I was poised and that probably helped. Don't be afraid to counter their offer. Well, I mean, They're only looking for a few people, and the position they're starting out in, we'll see. I mean, I kind of want to get as much as I can, obviously, but I won't be afraid to ask because that's actually kind of like a test. At least that's what I've heard. I don't really know. It's kind of like a test for the companies to see how much you're willing to bend to them. So whatever they have, I will try to. I don't know what the best way to ask for a counter offer is. I'll probably have to look it up, but hope you get the job. Well, I basically have the job. I think it's like guaranteed. It's guaranteed. They're just going to make me an offer. Um, so because before, whenever I left the interview, they said they'd call me on Monday whether I got the job or didn't get the job. So it was kind of like in the air, and then they basically said I got the job. So they must have really, really liked me. Yo, Brago, what's up, dude? Was today better than yesterday, Brago? Hope they treat you better than the last job. Kind of hard to be worse than the last job, man. Would I like a fight with Sanji versus Kyoshiro? I mean, I don't know if I would hate it, but that's not kind of the matchup I'm looking for. I don't really see a reason why Sanji would even fight Kyoshiro. There's not really like a disconnect there that would kind of be in their range of fighting. This seems odd to me. What are the shifts you're getting looking like? Well, it depends. I'm not sure yet. They have that's part of like the negotiation because they will. I have to go through training first, so I have to go through the training, and then they're going to put me in different contract departments to help out. So I'll be moving around the different departments to help out because this is going to be the busy part of the year because it mostly deals the company I'm working for. It's called Teleforce. Well, going to be working for, I assume. It's called Teleforce, and they mostly deal with online schools in Florida, tech solutions, and that's all year round. And apparently, they get pretty busy during this time of the year. So we'll see. Random question: what happened to Luffy's sword? I thought it would be important. My default answer to that is going to be that if it either fell on the ground and it has to be found, or if there's some type of like armory where they put all the things that the slaves had at the camp in, it might be in like the treasury of the armory or something. What's up, Ace? Was man, thanks for asking. Still some residual, but overall good, bro. That's nice to hear, bro. I know that you've had a rough time recently, especially because when we had that talk alone. Hopefully things go out better for you too, man. You've been nothing but support. Hashtag neck. Who is my next collab with? Roger, maybe. The planned next collab is with Anime Fan Talk during the weekend, and then Red Hair Ragnar. We still have one to do. Yo, thanks, Nick. What's up, D? How you doing? Dude, 40 words a minute is what the average person is capable of. Well, the average depends what you mean by average person, because I think the age group kind of matters. In the technical field, I don't know if 40 is average. He's just lying. He's an escort. If I was an escort, I would be making mad money, man. Still waiting for your responses on my Sanji stuff on Twitter. Yeah, I have. If I didn't respond to it, the chances are I just probably didn't see it and or didn't check. I'm kind of oblivious to a lot of stuff because I've been getting a lot more DMs recently than I normally would, and some of them I just kind of left on hold because I was just doing other stuff. Ever plan on doing a head to head? It's a neck to neck, homie. Doing one live? Not really because, well, I guess it depends on the person, but with the topics that I usually talk about, there's usually more than enough material. So doing one live would kind of just extend the watch time, and I kind of want it to be like a personal between me and them kind of thing. For people who aren't used to streams, I don't want them to be like always checking the chat. I kind of want them to be focused on the topic at hand. You're 19 years old and type 44 words per minute. Well, Polgwin, would you consider yourself like a tech nerd or into video games or have good hand-eye coordination. I mean, I come from a history of gaming, and I played like computer games for like 6 years, so I should have pretty fast fingers, I think. Also, anyway, I should probably get into the review so we can talk about my opinions afterwards because I got lots of opinions. I think I'm. It's probably gonna be pretty obvious, but I'm gonna be looking at this. I have this. I ran out of the big pads, but I'm gonna be looking at this for reference. So obviously, so 933. I think the funniest part of 933 for me, I don't know if this was intentional, but whoever had the fan request for the cover page, the 420 guy, the Hong Kong 420, that is actually absolutely hilarious. I don't know if the editors just like let that slide, but that name is, and as predicted within my live reaction, as soon as people saw a no on the cover spread on the color page, not color page, whatever it is, cover story, they lost their minds. Easy bait. Easy bait for Oda. Anyway, the first topic to discuss is Orochi. To my surprise, to my expectation, something I didn't see coming, is the fact that Orochi had a mythical snake Orochi model devil fruit. I always thought it was going to be an elaborate meme and he was going to be a shitty smile user, and the fact that he isn't leaves me with some hope, actually. It leaves me with hope that Orochi might be taken into a different way than I expected heading into the future, because I find myself asking, would Oda do a mythical Zoan that dirty to just make them kind of completely irrelevant in terms of that ability? Mythical Zoans are so rare within the series. They're more rare than Logias. And to not capitalize on that potential, I feel like would be a waste, especially whenever the calamities so far don't have. They don't have the mythical Zoans, which a lot of people thought they were going to have. And I'm going to hold on to this hope because I kind of have a small theory heading into the future, which I'll probably save for a video, depending upon what changes in my mindset. But it's not looking good so far because Orochi, it would leave you to believe that Orochi is kind of a joke because his shonen has been somewhat lackluster. I guess my future thoughts depend on whether or not Nami's Thunderbolt actually hurt Orochi, because if it did, yikes. My initial impression was that whatever happened with Nami and, whatever the attack was, I forgot what the name was. I was called Lightning Bolt. Lightning Bolt! But that was basically a replica of the Big Mom situation where it knocked out fodder, but it kind of just stunned or dazed the person there. We'll have to find out. But this is kind of like a weird lose-lose situation. The fact that Orochi isn't a smile kind of deflates any hype there could possibly be in the series initially for there to be a competent smile user, which I find odd. What's the point of manufacturing smile and then giving them to your army if everyone there that uses it sucks? How can there not be a competent smile user? Is this really the extent of Kaido's trump card? And is this even Kaido's trump card? Is this his plan or his way to get to beat the Pirate King? Because a lot of the Yonkos that are aspiring to beat the Pirate King have like their own secret method of doing it. Blackbeard is gathering devil fruits. Big Mom was going to rely on the Giants, although I suppose that comes with the caveat that historically throughout the series, the Giants have been lackluster to say the least, but at least we have the expectation or the hope that the royalty of Elbaf, Loki included, are the exception, and that's why Hyruda needed a Logia devil fruit to be able to tangle with them. But Kaido's smile fruit seems to be the oddity. So I'm wondering if there's kind of like a secret smile fruit, or there's like people that are kind of hiding in the shadows that haven't been revealed yet that will make smile fruits seem more than they are. And I feel like that would be a cool way to tie in Vegapunk, Frankie, and possibly Germa, because if you're replicating a devil fruit that kind of automatically deals with genetics / the souls of devil fruits, and that's kind of right up Frankie's alleyway to getting introduced into more Vegapunk stuff, as well as Judge, because the entire lineage factor is kind of Judge's bread and butter. So he might have something to do with that if there is in fact like a laboratory around. Maybe even Caesar shows up, who knows? But The next thing I want to talk about is actually I haven't really seen many people talk about this. I haven't had the chance to watch JB's review, so maybe he talked about this. But on page 4, Murasaki says something that I found interesting. I'm going to quote her: "The one who falls in love first is the one who loses." Murasaki, page 4. So I feel like this quote's actually fairly important because it kind of reveals the ideology and mindset Murasaki has towards the notion of love. She has a kind of almost venomous amount of apathy towards the idea of falling in love, which you can kind of tie into her character and the way she fools people. And I think it kind of adds a new layer onto her character with the expectation that in the future, a love kind of cycle or a love interest might be introduced into Murasaki. But I'm not really going to put my chips on betting on that being executed greatly because so far, Murasaki seems to be a Boa 4.0, where we had Boa, Viola, Pudding, and now we have Murasaki, where we have a very similar type of female structure introduced and then flipped on us to then introduce a significant other type of person, and they haven't really been executed all that well, in my opinion, or at least not as much as I would have liked. So, and the more we get into the new world, it seems like the more and more romance has become a thing in One Piece, because Dressrosa was heavily romanced, and then Whole Cake Island was obviously romanced. So I don't think there's anything to say that the next big arc, Wano, can't follow in that path, especially considering the lore behind Murasaki and that love was kind of tied to her to begin with. I guess that begs the question: who would be the candidates if that would happen? I think you automatically have to include Luffy because Luffy is like the harem king. Although I hope Oda doesn't go the route because it's actually I hope Oda doesn't go the romance route to begin with, but it's something I can see happening. The other person would be Zoro. There's samurai stuff. Other samurai dudes can be involved, or something that I would personally enjoy is that no one is introduced into it, and that Murasaki kind of stays static in her apathy for love, but she evolves as a person in another way, so that Oda can kind of break the chain that he has within the female structure. So it's up to him. We'll see. I kind of I don't know. It's weird. With Murasaki, I'm kind of waiting for Oda to make her different because right now I don't really have a reason to care about her until I see that she isn't exactly what we think she is. So I'm interested in looking into the future. Next page. Turn the page. Turn the page. Oh, yeah. Next topic. Robin and the ninjas. As predicted, the ninjas were basically the meme squad. And as predicted, most people are probably only going to take serious the head, brainy, tall skull ninja guy, because out of the shenanigans in this chapter, he was the only person not involved and he was the leader. I don't know how I feel about that, but he wasn't in tomfoolery. There isn't really much to say about Robin in this chapter that I didn't say in my last review or that other people haven't echoed in their reviews. It's weird. Although speaking of weird, I do find it odd that Robin, while talking to Toko, was like, I can't really save her because I'm having a hard time saving you. The Shogun's angry. I can't do stuff. And then Robin she fends off an attack, but Nami basically comes down and then nukes the entire building. Nami kind of stole the show there, which I'm okay with, but we'll see where that's going. Go Nami or Zeus. Speaking of Zeus, this is like a tangent. Where the hell is Prometheus, dude? Whenever Big Mom was coming with that waterfall, we didn't see Prometheus. Where the hell is Prometheus, and how the hell is he not right next to Big Mom the entire time? What the hell? I don't know. If Nami gets Prometheus, I don't know. We'll see. We'll cross that road when we cross that road. I don't know how confident I am on that. So I'm still waiting for there to be a sexy Konoichi in Wano. Oda teased with Shinobu, and I said this in my live reaction, dude. Like, Oda does girls, older women, so nasty in the series. Like, I don't know how. All women in their prime, they're sexy, but as soon as they get old, as opposed to like a lot of the cool men, they either get really, really small, really fat, or really wrinkly, and a combination of all of them, while the dudes kind of remain buff, and it's like kind of cool whenever it comes to like a lot of like the focused old guys. It's like, how are we gonna do them like that? How are we gonna do them like that? Also, this is kind of like an aside. It doesn't really matter to me, but you know how Oda has been like paying homage to lore or past historical figures in Wano within like every chapter? I feel like it's kind of wasting the potential of some of the bigger names. Hanzo, Raijin, what's the other one I have written down? Fujin. A lot of these other people, it's like, Hanzo is like an immense historical figure. And he's obviously in the meme. He's in the meme squad. I feel like there could have been room for like a really cool ninja named Hanzo. That would have been absolutely dope. Um, Kind of makes me wonder how much of it is paying homage and how much of it is just memeing. I don't know. I don't know. It's like a petty thing because I'm like generic when it comes to that. We'll see. The main topic though, probably the best part of the chapter, undoubtedly would be the Kyoshiro and Kamurasaki stuff. So the common idea I've seen going around the fandom, and people were commenting on this rapidly throughout my live reaction, is that it is exactly what it seems, and that I shouldn't be doubting it or I shouldn't be expecting any less. And for me, I don't know if Kyoshiro being quote unquote in the act is as obvious as it seems, because for me, the context around the scene is kind of weird. And why is that so? I don't know. Kyoshiro seems kind of earnest to me in his beliefs towards respecting the throne. And it's just not Orochi. Like, Kyoshiro seems like the kind of guy that he believes in a sort of ideology where it would make sense for him to not be in the know, because he was surprised at the Kozuki paper that Kamurasaki had in her hand. If that was all part of an act, then why even show that, and why would he be surprised to begin with? He had known her since she was a kid and had practically raised her, yet she had kept this a secret the entire time. And if she hadn't, why is revealing the Kozuki paper a signal to get Kyoshiro in the act? Because for me, I'm kind of looking at Kyoshiro's character, and in some ways, he seems similar to Shutenmaru, where he is gray in terms of the moral area. Like, and I was talking to Braga about this because this would be a cool ideology to explore in Kyoshiro to also correct whenever the Kozukis retake the throne on Wano, is that Kyoshiro makes fun of Orochi the first time we meet him. But he seems, or he gives off the illusion, it could be a lie, that he respects the idea of the throne, the people who are there. And he's a cutthroat. And it could be that he respects the throne, that he was similar to Shutamaru, because Shutamaru, also a ruffian, was held up by Odin. And then Kyoshiro's in the Yakuza. Could have been a similar situation. He was inspired by Odin, but he has a different type of mentality, and over the course of the 20 years, he has also grown apathetic, like Shutamaru, about whatever's happening. So, because of like he's kind of like gray in that terms of moral area, like he's a good person, but obviously, if the cut was real, it would open up to him being a more interesting character. But speaking of the cut, so it's really, really obvious. Obviously, I don't believe Kamurasaki's dead. It would be like a twist and a half if she was. But please let the cut be something. Don't let it be fake or like as I said in my live reaction, like an Aizen Bankai. Not he didn't use Bankai in this series, but like an Aizen sword ability or whatever release. And it's just like, let it be a shallow cut or a cut at all, because I'm tired of trying to care about Wano and then basically being reinforced in the idea that I shouldn't care about what's happening. I really want to care about the stakes and the tone, and it's just not doing it for me. So I want it to be a real thing. Let her be hurt, please. And for people who are new that are watching, I made the meme in my live reaction that it's like, for the first time in the series, Oda let a girl be hurt, and people are like, that isn't true. People got hurt here, there, and here. Obviously, it was I was being facetious women have gotten hurt in the series, but it's very obvious when the context, especially of the New World, that Oda has taken liberties to make sure that women are out of actual danger in terms of taking bodily damage, which is why in a war arc in Wano, it would be kind of appropriate for people of all sexes and all ages to take damage and to be hurt, so that we have a reason to care about them outside of yeah, yeah, help me, yeah, give them some agency and just like man them up, man them up. What I want to see. Also, I mentioned this in Braga's stream. I forgot to write this down. Good thing I remembered. I thought I was going to forget this. Is that the fact that Komurasaki has the Kozuki paper, right? It's hard to explain why, but I am not getting the vibe that Komurasaki is Hiyori. Like, I could be biased because I want it to be opposite anyway. Like, I don't want her to be Komurasaki, but it would be really weird for the actual daughter to be carrying around the thing that Kinemon was handing out instead of her being a part of everything and like inside the inner network and already know stuff. Because Kiku was there waiting. She would be able to find her as well. I mean, she had months to do it, or weeks rather, maybe like a month, 1 month to do it. It just seems really odd. I feel like it still might be more likely that Komurasaki is like an attendant of some sort. So we'll see. There's too many Kyas in this chapter. Actually, I thought, and like I pay attention to the Kyas. There wasn't as many as I thought there was going to be. I thought there was going to be way more Kyas. TBH. So the entire night was skipped. We don't really know what happened. What happened to Sanji? What happened to Law? What happened to Zoro? What happened to Nami? Oda with the infamous off-screen no me, which I'll get into a bit later, but I want to note that I kind of expected the Sanji fight to not be a full fight, but it's also pretty weird to me that Oda would like leave off the chapter with Sanji going as a cliffhanger and then actually have a time skip. I was kind of expecting there to be like a scene where he skips most of the fight of Sanji doing stuff, but then shows the end where Sanji wins. But just skipping the entire thing just leaves it all up in the air. I mean, I want to believe that Sanji took care of him, that he's doing his own thing, but there's the possibility that that might not be the case. It depends upon the entire Zoro situation, what happens there. Because if Oda wants to keep separating Zoro and Sanji, having Sanji get caught up in some other plot event while he was fighting Page 1 would be the way to do it. So we'll have to find out. Which leads me to Big Mom. Big meme. Big meme. And the first thing I want to talk about that isn't just complete apathy is people were questioning why Napoleon was basically asleep on Big Mom's head. And I'm going to kind of toot my own horn here, because this is one of my first theories I ever got correct that never got any views, is kind of talking about the connection between Big Mom's psyche and then her homies. Normally, in most situations, Napoleon actually mirrors not only the facial expression, but the sort of mentality that Big Mom is in. Whenever Big Mom was in a rage, Napoleon was crazy eyes. Whenever Big Mom was looking one way, Napoleon looks that way. And whenever Big Mom's angry, Napoleon is angry. So the fact that Big Mom got amnesia, the same thing kind of happens to the point. It kind of like, it feels like he kind of shut off because the pathway to the psyche that he knew for Big Mom was kind of cut off. So he should, for the most part, until Big Mom like goes into a craze or remembers something, I think he will remain basically off in a sense, which could be a nerf in a way because he might not be able to be used if he's not like cognizant of his abilities. So we'll see. Another idea that's really, really common that I've been seeing a lot is because the prison mountains, they appear to be in the background, is that the Big Mom will be instrumental in breaking Luffy out. Just like I said in Braga's stream, I will repeat here. I really, really, really dislike this idea of using Big Mom as a plot device to break out of a prison that it doesn't even seem like we need to have Big Mom's help to do that, because the prison is... I mean, you've seen it for yourself. There's no reason to care about that prison. Big Mom isn't necessary. So I'm hoping that this isn't just a plot point to get Big Mom to help overcome things that the Strahds could do by themselves. We'll see. I know JB's probably still jerking it, but Oda can throw in a twist there. And I was talking to Fru about this. He mentioned the idea that Big Mom could go to the prison and then go on a rampage. And I don't know. There's a possibility because Big Mom is prone to rampages, but within her own psyche and like her 6-year-old self, what's the point of having Big Mom for one chapter be her 6-year-old self and then another chapter have her immediately go into a rampage? I feel like it kind of defeats the purpose of exploring her quote unquote goodness if you just have her immediately go into a rampage. And I also don't think it will be a good idea because a lot of people are going to take Big Mom going to a rampage as a quote unquote training arc for Luffy so that they have experience fighting a Yonko. God, no, that is inconceivably bad. That better not happen. I will fucking throw my dick on the wall. It just repeatedly, man. Just slapping my dick on that wall. Oh. Oh, no. But speaking of training, so this is like a weird idea. Like I agree with it, but like it just makes no sense to me. Is people are saying that Luffy being in the prison is the equivalent of him training, and I don't think that even makes sense. Like it's obvious Luffy's bigger now, but like what is Luffy doing now that he hasn't done before? Because I kind of want to compare this to, if you guys know about the last Airbender, Uncle Iroh, he was imprisoned and he had been out of combat for a long time because he retired, right? So him working out while he was in prison actually made sense because he was out of shape and he was trying to get back into shape. But Luffy, he went into the prison already in shape, already really strong, and having done things more impressive than pushing around cinder blocks to equate to him getting stronger. I don't think that's a big enough justification for like Luffy getting strong. Like, what is he getting they didn't have before? It would just be like completely forced to me. Like, it would be the equivalent of Big Mom's amnesia if Luffy just comes out like, yeah, I'm way stronger than I was before because I was getting gains, you know? It just, I don't know. It's like it's an oddity to me. So, but as far as like Big Mom, my only criticism, like if I have a criticism of Big Mom, it's going to be a criticism that I have with the entire chapter. Because a lot of the criticisms I have of this chapter are kind of the criticisms I've had of Wano in general. And that's the fact that Oda is a magnificent writer. And he has done things that I have criticized him for, but he's done them right in the past. So when I'm looking at Wano, it's really hard for me to understand without knowing what's going to happen in the future, whether or not Oda is intentionally fucking up the tone of the arc, or if he's just trying to rush the plot to get to a certain point in time, which is not a good thing. Because the tone of Wano is all over the place, and the pacing of Wano is like, it's really hard to care about what's going on, for me at least. I've talked to other people, they've had the same exact feeling, and other people I've talked to don't see it. But as an example, so for this chapter, right, the tonality for me was all over the place because I wasn't sure whether or not I was supposed to like care, like reasonably care. Orochi goes berserk, right? Last end of the chapter. Kyoshiro at the end of that chapter implies that he's going to, blood's going to be shed. We didn't know what the context was at that time. We thought he was going to go insane. The ninjas, after the situation, everything's going out. The ninjas and Brook are used as comedy relief. They destroy that sense of danger during that point in time. Orochi comically has the ceiling fall on him as Nami and, what's her face? The fat bitch, fall on him. Multiple fodder characters, for no discernible reason, are like ordering Kyoshiro and the ninjas to stop Orochi from hurting Komurasaki, which doesn't make sense to me. Like, I don't know why they think they can do that. I guess it's supposed to be this, like, the classic Oda way he handles people, where it, like, handles filler, where it's supposed to be there to heighten the tense of the scene. It didn't work for me. Could have worked for other people, though. And what else I got here? Oh, yeah. Kyoshiro attacks Komurasaki, and this is something that Sawyer mentioned, is that the Straw Hats are, like, in complete shock. Like, this is actually supposed to be something shocking, because they don't even know who Komurasaki is. They have no reason to be as shocked as they are. It's like it's a worse version of their reaction to Pedro because they didn't even know Pedro, and like it was like everyone was in complete tears and crying when he was dying. And then like the Kamurasaki thing is like everyone's like, oh my god, she got caught, and the Straw Hats are like, oh, this is unbelievable. Robin's like, Nani? What? And it's just like, am I really? Is this really that shocking for the Straw Hats? I don't know, because the entirety of the scenes leading up to that, it wasn't dramatic. They were basically fucking around. So it didn't feel that tense to me. It was like, I don't know. It was awkward. There's like no context behind it. But I feel like the biggest thing is like, so there was a time skip, right? We go from night to day. We skipped a lot of the events. And this has been something that Oda's been doing a lot recently, like more so than before. I think it's because Oda once said in an interview that he tries to fit as much as he possibly can into every panel. And I feel like because Oda does that, he has the mentality of cramming stuff a lot. He actually skips some of the most important stuff because Oda has a tendency of building up to events like in a somewhat, oh, it's like, okay, this is an average chapter. It's a quote unquote, it's a standard setup chapter. Oda builds up to that chapter and then off screens it, and he skips the most entertaining part to be wrapped up or summarized at a later point. Like we had this issue that I talked about. One of the best chapters of Wano was something that didn't really have anything to do with Wano, and that was the Blackbeard chapter. But a lot of things got skipped or off screen. We just, the fact that we learned of them was something people was interested in. But so many things get off screened. Like Nami's Thunderbolt thing, we don't actually get to see the damage it does because it's supposed to be a thing. Sanji's fight gets off screen because we don't supposed to know about it. Chopper and the first interaction with Big Mom is off screen, and it's skipped to the point where she's just with them now. There's no shock at like her being revealed to be a good person, quote unquote. And it just skipped. It's like, yeah, you get it, blah blah blah. We got to this point, and I would have preferred to have seen Chopper's and the crew's reaction to Big Mom's initial kindness outside of her saying, "Who am I?" Because that's a really interesting thing to see. Because it's also like how I got somewhat irked whenever the first character interaction between Kid and Luffy also got skipped whenever Luffy was thrown in the jail cell. It's like, hours later, Luffy's just clanking away. You skipped very important character moments. And I don't think that was worth it for the sake, if that was planned, I could be talking out of my ass, but if that was planned for the sake of just advancing the plot, I don't think it was a good thing to do. So Wano's in a weird place for me right now as a whole. Like, I think Wano's okay, but it just feels like it's just all over the place. I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel about the arc. But I'm going to be holding on to this thought for the next few chapters because we're 25 chapters, 24, 25 chapters into the arc so far, and a tone hasn't been established, the stakes haven't been established, and the characters aren't, their investment isn't as much as I thought it would be, given the magnitude of their task. And I'm wondering when Oda's going to get to the point, because, in a few more months, we'll be a year into Wano. How long does it take to get to that point? Because it already feels like Oda's rushing so much, but so much has been skipped. I don't know. We'll see what Oda has in his Grandmaster plan. It could be all part of an elaborate keikaku. I don't know. Overall, though, rating of the chapter, I think this chapter was fine. It wasn't a good chapter. It wasn't a great chapter. It introduced some promising plot points, even though because of my negativity, I may not be enthralled by them. Like the Big Mom thing, that has potential, no doubt. Whatever Oda decides to do, I'm just automatically assuming, based upon my previous trauma from Whole Cake Island, that Oda will go down the route that I think is worst. So that may be proven wrong. So the Big Mom thing has promise. The Koshiro Kamurasaki thing has promise because Koshiro, in a cast full of Wano people that we don't really care about, him and Kamurasaki stand out as and Shutamaru stand out as the people that are the most interesting out of everyone. So there's a lot of places that Oda can go from there. So I'll just have to see what happens. But it's kind of hard to take this by a week chapter and not question the purpose, which is why I'm here. And just because I said that, instant 50 dislikes. So thank you for the dislikes. I'm surprised you reached this far. But yeah, I would rate the chapter a 7. Average One Piece chapter. By the way, oh my god, I shouldn't bring this up, but do you guys think that's a justified thing to say? Whenever people defend a One Piece chapter by saying it's a standard setup chapter, so it's okay to be average, is that a good defense for like the material not being as good as it potentially could have been? Or is that just people being too picky? I don't know. I don't know. This is something I've been thinking about for a while. And I don't really know what the right answer is because I can see arguments for both sides. But regardless, that's my review for the chapter. I articulated that better than I thought I was going to. Did I skip anything? No, I got everything. A baby. Let's go. Thank you for, watching the review up to this point. Now it's chat time. It was just like, for Drizzt, thank you. I need it. I need it. This was live. Oh, am I? Oh, baby, I'm so convincing that this is supposed to be premiered. Now, I haven't premiered anything yet. This is live, Mac. To some extent, I think it's valid, but not every setup chapter should be good because they should have some spicy dialogue. They should be good. They should have some spicy dialogue. That's what I was thinking. Because I was thinking about it, setup chapters, you're basically required to do them in storytelling, but the way I would imagine you make setup chapters more engaging for the audience is by having character interaction that's meaningful in there. But we don't really get that a lot when it comes to the setup chapters for One Piece, or maybe my standards are too high because I'm used to reading series that are highly focused on the characters, and One Piece kind of ignores the characters. Which says, Drizzt, you and Braga and the others should do a long discussion on pre-time skip versus post-time skip. I think eventually that's going to happen. Max says, hey, sexy Drizzt. What do you think that the bad Big M was in part controlled by Carmel, or at least her subconscious? So when she drowned, Carmel disappeared, returning the real Big Mom. So the idea behind that, Mac, is essentially that I think if you're going right, is that whenever Big Mom ate Carmel, she actually absorbed the real soul of Big Mom, of Carmel, and that kind of overtook her consciousness. I don't know if that really. I'm inclined to think that isn't the case because Big Mom, even after eating Carmel, didn't just instantly become, the embodiment of Carmel. It was kind of implied to me that because of Carmel's absence and Streusen manipulating her, that she became the way she is today, and not necessarily a consequence of Carmel's soul still being alive. Let's check out Dragon Price. It's on Netflix. What's it about? Cole was saying that the paper wasn't from Kumurasaki's hand. People have been saying that a lot, CPT, and I don't see how there isn't a way that isn't from Kumurasaki's hand. I just can't see it. Like the hand's on the ground. Like the way the panel is drawn, the hand is literally it's like grabbing it and it's on the ground like this. And Kyoshiro looks at it. He doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's all an elaborate ruse, but for me it just wouldn't make sense. Because who else would it be? Just got fired like 20 minutes ago midstream. What'd you get fired for, Juan? What the hell? What are my thoughts about Sawyer's idea with Big Mom and Elbaf? What was his idea again, Kevin? Was it something like what was his idea? Big Mom would just reveal more information about Elbaf as she starts going like getting her memories back or some shit. That's not how cannibalism works. Drizzt the theorist. What's up, Carlos? Do you think Jinbei is actually dead or he got reincarnated into a homie? I don't think Jinbei's dead, and I also don't think he got reincarnated into a homie because I still think Jinbei has his normal body. Because if he didn't, that might be like a. If he didn't have his normal body and he got like. His body would have to be preserved so it didn't rot, unless Oda just ignores bodies needing to be tended to. Like it would have to be in like a morgue or like, you know, what they did with what's his face? Moscato after his soul got taken out. There could be a Jinbei homie, technically, but I don't think Jinbei's body's gone. Maybe Big Mom knows who the mysterious prisoner is, and Oda is bringing there to meet him. It depends because, well, I don't think the prisoner is the lurking legend, and I don't think the prisoner is Scopper Gabon, like a lot of people think he is. I'm not sure if my aspirations are going to be that high. If that is Scopper Gabon, like I don't know how that even ties into Big Mom enough for that to like be a deciding factor. And if it's a lurking legend, you have other questions like how the hell does a lurking legend get trapped in a Wano prison for 20 years? When people like Luffy and Kaido just walking around. So Hiyori confirmed yes or no. I right now I'm leaning towards the no part for Komurasaki and Hiyori. And remember, the longer it takes to confirm this obvious plot point that would have been obvious if it was Komurasaki, the more chance it is for me that it's not her. Do the Oniwabon serve Kaido or the Shogun? I would imagine the Shogun. Talk about Kyoshiro is trying to prove his loyalty. Pretty sure it's an important point, especially of him being connected to the Kozuki in the past, that he has to prove his loyalty. Well, there are a couple ways I can see it. I can see it that way, Vikas, but there's also a way you can look at it where it's Kyoshiro has a sort of ideology where he genuinely believes that the throne or the ruler, regardless of who they are, that authority should be respected. And that even if his own family, aka Komurasaki, disrespects it, he has to bring down punishment on it because that's what he believes in. We'll see. The more obvious thought is that he's just like that the father was right in trying to guess. But I'm kind of led to believe the opposite simply because they guessed it. What do I think will be the trigger? Also, yeah, I forgot, there was a super chat a while ago. Oh, it's from Lothar. But check out your PayPal. Do you think Kyoshiro is a third party in the upcoming war and he and his Yakuza want to take over Wano country for themselves? I don't think he wants to be the ruler. I'm kind of looping him in with the Shuchimaru thing that he wants a good leader. I don't think he wants to be the ruler. But I do think he's kind of like a neutral in terms of alliance so far. Also, I will check out the PayPal. Boop, boop. Log in. And I will look at the chat more. Eh. I ran out of fiber. Drizzt, you got any spare fiber laying around? I wish. Yo, Lothar. I appreciate it, buddy. Lothar, you got bank for days. I remember Kyoshiro playing with dolls. Yeah, he was playing with dolls, wasn't he? It kind of just skipped my mind. I've noticed a lot of YouTubers don't have patience when it comes to One Piece, or maybe I am too patient because I don't want all the answers right away and let the story progress. Well, I mean, you probably have a point, but at the end of the day, I don't know. There's like a fine line between being too patient and I think some people just get fed up, especially with how frequently they do content, because I think it's a consequence of looking into a series is that whenever you start to find faults in a series, or you need to have discussion in order to create content, it kind of brings forth things that other people necessarily wouldn't see. Um, but I don't know. One was in a weird spot where like a lot of people heading into Wano, like as for an example, people like myself, they aren't. I'm not giving Oda the benefit of the doubt in Wano because of what happened in the New World so far. I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt simply because he's Oda, because he's lost that from me. He has to earn that back. So I'm going to be skeptical until he earns me back. For me, at least, that's me. Some people feel that way. Some people don't. It just depends. It also has to play with. There's like a lot of factors. Individual personality, how much the editors have hyped up Wano. It sets unrealistic expectations, and they should have known that, and they shouldn't have done that in Whole Cake Island. That was a like they suck at marketing, but yeah. You'll see later, Witch. I think Toka might be Hiyori now. I mean, that's the theory. I mean, that's what I think. I think Toka might be Hiyori. There are still other people that could be Hiyori. Some people still believe Tama might be Hiyori, which I was before the last 4 chapters. I was in that boat as well, but I'm on the Toko train now. So look how consistent I am in my beliefs. A live review, yeah. What's up, Devil? How you doing? Drizzt's stream is probably the best review by far by any reviewer. You got all the points articulated perfectly. Well done, bro. Yeah, I feel like I did a great job. Donate. Thanks, I appreciate it, Taito. Live reviews are so much easier for me. Like Oda messed up the Big Mom, messed up with Big Mom big time. I mean, I agree with you. That's my personal opinion. I feel like Oda has continually messed up Big Mom. Um, Now if you're just talking Wano in general, the way that Oda messed with Big Mom is one, her portrayal, and two, just awkward writing, putting her into the amnesia situation. We can only tell what's going to happen, but we just have to wait for Oda to actually do it. So all we have is our hopes and fears. So it's kind of hard not to see it in certain ways. What manga would you recommend to me? I recommend Berserk. That's my favorite manga, so I'm gonna recommend it anytime. I'm actually rereading Berserk currently. I just started it yesterday again. Because anytime I catch up, I just reread it. So Berserk is really good. Tokyo Ghoul is still worth reading. Fullmetal Alchemist is really good. Claymore I recommend as well. I'm a fan of seinens, but Mr. Morge versus Drizzt Cage fight needs to happen. Mr. Morge and me are actually friends, dude. Believe it or not, we actually get along. Despite us having completely separate mentalities, we can actually get along with each other. So I'm away catching up with Tower of God. Yo, the Tower of God greatness. Speaking of which, oh my god. Whenever after I was recording my neck to neck with Laz, I basically vented about Tower of God for 25 minutes because I love Tower of God, but I don't know, man. Tower of God has a lot of issues. Much like any manga, but the Tower of God issues make some of the issues in One Piece seem like child's play. Devil says, I love the chapter. I didn't like the time skip. It felt so necessary. he's just going to skip Law meeting up with Zoro and Sanji versus Page One guy, and then Rob and Nami blowing the Alliance's cover. I mean, that seems to be the case, right? We're just jumping from one plot point to the other. Taito says, "Yo, Drizzt, what are your thoughts on the Supernova facing off against Blackbeard and his 10 captains? The Supernova? I don't have reason to believe that that will be the case. I also don't have the reason to believe that all the Supernova will be alive by that point in time. Like, if Law survives to the point where Luffy is fighting Blackbeard, that would be ridiculous. And also, it would be kind of weird as well because hierarchy. Wait, it would be really weird for like Luffy to solo Blackbeard and like Kid to fight Shiryu. It just it kind of doesn't make sense to me, and I also it goes against my headcanon, so I don't know. Ooh. Fritz, who had the paper with the Kozuki rebellion in the first place? Murasaki, Kyoshiro, or another Austrian character? To me, it seems like it's Kamurasaki, but people are going to argue it until it's confirmed. But I think it's Kamurasaki. That's right, Lothar. What do you think about Chopper's development? I mean, there has to be something, especially seeing that Hiruk and Wano are somehow connected. I mean, that's the idea. I mean, JB has been talking about this for a long time. I have been talking about something different. But when we all kind of agreed that the Sakura and Wano should be a plot point theoretically, we're just waiting for it. And I know that as of right now, the most obvious plot point with Chopper is like he's gonna help cure Big Mom or something along those lines. I really hope that isn't the case. I kind of want it to be intercrew related. I mean, that's my personal headcanon, but I kind of want it to be intercrew related because I feel like a lot of Chopper's doctor moments kind of get outshone by other people. Oh, Jan-kun. If I only put one ad on your videos, watching ads is the only way I'm able to support you, and you should be able to put more ads. It depends on the length of the video, and let's say my video is 14 minutes. I have an ad before the video loads. I usually have 2 ads in the actual video. So. Edrit's Feng Shen Ji. A lot of people have mentioned that to me. Chopper is nothing but a mascot at this point. Yeah, Chopper has. I mean, like there are some shots that have completely fallen off the cliff, but Chopper, like, I mean, Chopper was a mascot in part in the pre-time skip, but he had a lot more time to shine in the pre-time skip than in the post. Like, ooh, shit. Chopper fans, I mean, it's like, it also seems so obvious that he's merchandise too, because the only way he's ever drawn is like, I'm cute. Like, eek, yikes. Yikes for Chopper. Give my reindeer. Like, also, Chopper's old design was so much better. Oh, God, it was so much better. I think it was also cuter as well. Please let the next plot point be the red light district. I mean, I thought that was going to be a thing prior to going to Okabore Town, but now I'm not so sure. Do I think Kamurasaki may have some kind of devil fruit that would allow her to be alive somehow? I feel I'm missing something. Well, here's the thing. One, you don't need a devil fruit to be able to survive that. People in One Piece can take ridiculous amounts of damage without it actually mattering. And I don't think Kyoshiro went full out to just destroy her. Otherwise, he actually would have cut her in half. I think hopefully she's hurt. And it's not a ruse. It's not like a devil fruit related ability. But I just want her to be hurt. If Big Mom's homies are acting weird, what do you think is happening in Totland? Well, here's the thing. The homies acting weird. I don't know. That's a good question. It's kind of related to her health because The homie started acting weird whenever Big Mom was like basically almost dead. Big Mom has amnesia now. So the ones that are immediately affected are the ones connected to her soul. Her health is in good standing, so I don't really know if the homies back at Whole Cake Island are going whack or not. I don't think Oda's going to address that actually. I don't see him addressing it. What are the straw hats that fell off in order? Oh golly. In order? Oh, that's a good question. Who fell off the most? My God. I don't know. Maybe Frankie? Is it because like obviously like the main candidates are Brooke, Frankie, Sanji, Chopper. Those are the main candidates. But they're all on there. Hard to say. I'd have to go through an in-depth analysis. No, there's Robin as well. It's like Jesus Christ, there's so many people that fell off. Oh, Frankie's just nipple lights. Speak your stuff just because Bomb getting her as a teacher when he literally just trained and didn't use more than half of what he learned from the data version of them. Yeah, the Tower of God issue is that the power scaling in Tower of God is so bad that it actually takes you out of being immersed in the world building. And that is something that I had thought would have been an almost impossible thing to replicate. And the last thing that would have replicated that would have been Dragon Ball Z. And Tower of God makes Dragon Ball Z seem a bit more ridiculous than its own power scaling system because none of it fucking makes sense. And it just, I don't know, it's a big problem that CU needs to address. Remember Chopper Brain Point? No. Bond's my favorite character, but it gets to me sometimes. Yeah, no, I agree with you, man. It's just like, I don't know. There are a lot of things that are like Tower of God's a great read, but the future is kind of weird. I don't know. How much you bench? I don't know. I've never benched anything before. How do I see the prison break going? Well, if Big Mom goes there, I don't know. If Big Mom goes there, I don't know. If Big Mom doesn't go there, I have an idea. What do I think of Zoro getting Napoleon and Luffy getting Prometheus for an aerial battle? Oh no, Vikas, no way. No way. Please no. No? But the artwork though, I mean the artwork is great in Tower of God, but I don't know. Why do I dislike Zoro? I don't dislike Zoro. Zoro's in my top 10 favorite characters, but Zoro in the post time skip is not a really interesting character. For me at least, I mean. Um Zoro's just kind of dull. Just why do you think Oda gives more care to the RD trio? Is it just because they were first when redesigning who he wanted in the Straw Hat crew? Why do you think this is the RD trio? RD. What? I don't know what that is. What? I've never actually heard the RD trio. What is that? What's that an acronym for? Who's my favorite character in One Piece? Ace. 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 Chris, I don't believe that Zoro will end up fighting Mihawk, but I want to know your thoughts. I will be making a video about that, Sagad. So look forward to it. That's one of my next videos I'm going to be doing. Fairy Tail power levels. It, to be honest, I mean, I stopped reading Fairy Tail at a certain point, but I think Tower of God power ups or like Tower of God abilities are even more ridiculous than Fairy Tail. When I think we're gonna see Reverie, the end of Act Two would be my guess. In between every act, there's probably going to be a chapter that lets us know what's happening in the rest of the world. At least that's what I think is going to happen. I mean, Act One had it, maybe starting a trend, but that would be the best time to do it, I think, without divulging away from Oda wanting to stay in Wano. Where am I reading Berserk? I am reading it on readberserk.com, ironically enough. Luffy, Nami, and Zoro. Oh, that's what the RD trio stands for? Really? RD stands for Luffy. Really? All right. I'll have to go back and read that question then. Why do I think Oda gives the most care to the RD trio, if that's Luffy, Zoro, and Nami? Why does he give the most care? Because he actually cares most about those characters. If those were like the quote unquote Oda's words, triggers for One Piece, meaning that a lot of the story that Oda crafted for One Piece was for the sake of having those characters within it. So Oda cares more about Luffy, Zoro, and Nami than he does most every other character in the series. He wants those characters to get the most spotlight, or to be the most liked, or to be the most whatever. Why I think this is it's really common. Honestly, like if you try to make up your own story, generally you start with an idea, right? But your idea, generally speaking, starts off with a relatively small cast because your idea is probably limited in scope. Because you probably have like one character archetype you want to do, and maybe one or two others. Like this isn't One Piece, but this is like a standard series. It's like, you got main hero, you got the heroine, maybe love interest or something, whatever that equivalent is. Heroine, love interest, hero, and then like a third character would just be anyone else. For a shonen, it might be like the best friend or like the rival or something like that. And a lot of the story is designed around those characters and their interactions. It's very common. On the subject, what's the hate with post time skip Frankie? He doesn't really do much, and he looks ridiculous, I think. Why don't I invite other YouTubers on here? Your own crew? Well, this is just a One Piece chapter review, so I'm not really like looking to open the stream up unless people come by and want in. But I mean, I've had plenty of people on the stream recently, at least. Also, what's up, Cody? How you doing? Oh, Shisui, my boy. Hey, Drizzt, what's up, man? What kind of effect do I think the ignorance, lack of the outside world knowledge of Wano people will have in upcoming events? The lack of the knowledge of Wano people. Potentially if the Navy gets involved with Wano. Really, Ace? Yeah, Ace is by far my favorite character in the series. Then Nami, then Mihawk, uh, then Whitebeard. Do I like Katakuri? No, I know you have a Katakuri avatar, Brian, but I actually do not like Katakuri. What chapter will Act 2 end on? It's almost impossible to tell. It's not like all of the acts are going to be the same length, so it might be a little bit from now. My thoughts on any shots getting hockey this arc. I think if Usopp gets any focus at all, his observation hockey should be advanced. As far as anyone else, maybe Sanji unlocks hardening. Um, every other strat, I don't think it's necessary for them to get hockey for the rest of the series. So, Drizzt, if Nami loses Zeus, on a story perspective, do you think it will be right that she would gain something stronger? What would that be though? Because I'm actually more on the side that Nami keeps Zeus than Zeus being taken back by Big Mom. But I think Oda is sexist in regards to Big Mom's portrayal compared to her male counterparts. Part of me wants to say yes, RNG. Part of me wants to say yes because, like, I don't know. It might be the fact that I have an agenda when it comes to this because Oda's portrayal of the competence of women, especially the ones that are strong, isn't something that I find totally engaging. But there are so many factors that come into play. Oda has the belief that because he's writing a shonen series that uh, young boys who he wants to target the series towards don't want to see, like, you know, Big Mom or like Smoothie or Hancock be portrayed in the same light as people like Shanks and Whitebeard and Kaido. But like that's why a lot of the women are exactly the same. I don't know. It's either that or Oda just made Big Mom a punching bag because he just wanted to make her a punching bag. It's hard to say. I don't know what's inside of Oda's brain, but that's like what I would say. I would say part of it is a little bit there. It's kind of hard to deny for me, at least in some part of it, because like I don't know. I had this discussion with Hikari, right, where it's like some part of it seems sexist, but another part it's like, okay, well, how much of it is Oda being sexist, and how much of it is just Oda's post time skip writing? Because a lot of it kind of stems from that, where it's like it's like a consequence of Oda's writing in the post time skip. So it's like it's kind of where do you parse it? It's not obvious what the answer would be. As a Sweet General fanboy, I got to ask you, why do I hate the Sweet Generals? I don't hate them, but I have no reason to like them. Cracker's fight got botched. Smoothie's a complete joke, and Kata Curry, the way he was written was just it wasn't even believable for me. Kata Curry was basically just for me. It was like everything about him was poorly shown. Like he had cool abilities. He had a cool devil fruit. He was like he had everything that people would think was cool. Really strong on the surface. You know, cared about his family. Honorable quote unquote fight with Luffy. But for me, it's like it's a consequence of Oda's writing Whole Cake Island. It just makes Katakuri just fall apart for me. There's any dude, any life update? How are things going? I should have a job, Cody. I will know by Monday, but things are going better now. How would I like the Zoro and Sanji reunion to play out? Well, I am totally on board with the Zoro having confrontation with the crew thing. I would love for that to happen, so there be some conflict. Instead of a meme, I would much rather have a reason to care about Zoro and Sanji and Wano than to just have them like, oh, Anno Kuka, Merimo. You know, I kind of want it to be something that, even if it's not confrontation, make it character bonding. You know, something that makes me like genuinely care about them. What's the title of the streaming? It was in relation to the chapter about Kyoshiro and Kumurasaki. But I think Oda is writing for the right person to give the Snow Logia fruit to. Oh, is waiting for the right person to give the Snow Logia fruit to, or is he just gonna give it to Carrot for the whole Snow Bunny thing? I don't know. It's the answer. Honestly, I don't know. It depends. It's like how important of a character is Carrot, and why does she even need the Snow Logia? Because she's for the most part, Carrot's an arbitrary character. For her to get a Devil Fruit power up in a Logia, I mean that's a pretty big thing. I don't know what the point would be though. Like where Oda would take it from there. What are my thoughts on To You the Immortal? One of my favorite manga. Unlock hardening. Sanji has armament. Armament and hardening are not the same thing. Those are different tiers of armament hockey. Armament hockey is different. There's armament. That's the first stage of armament hockey. There's like regular armament where it's like invisible hockey, basically. And then there's hardening, which is the black-coated hockey. Sanji cannot use the black-coated hockey. Do I still tend to do a full arc review on Whole Cake Island? I do. It's going to be in like an audiobook format, though. So I don't have to do shit. What do you think? How would your interview with Oda go? What would be his answers to your questions? I feel like Oda would probably walk out if I interviewed him because I would be asking him questions that no one asked him for like probably his entire life, or at least recently. I would probably get thrown out because one, the customs of Americans interviewing is way different than interviewing in Japan, where it's like it's supposed to be like, oh, like kiss your ass kind of thing, like, oh, Oda Sensei. Is Luffy still want to become the king of pirates? Oh yes, Luffy's always wanted to become the king of pirates. As these things are like really, really obvious, or like, oh, it was really sad when Ace died. Yes, I know. Next question. Nami's boobs, I know. She has them. I think Hunter x Hunter surpassed Yu Yu Hakusho. I'm not an expert in either, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Just in regards to women, I don't think Oda is any worse than Kishimoto pre-time skip. Kishimoto, I mean, that's like an insult because Kishimoto's like really, really bad in comparison. Like Kishimoto sucks. He was an incompetent writer to begin with. So I mean, Oda's way better than Kishimoto when it comes to writing, especially character writing, because Kishimoto sucked. Just King of Lightning thinks Katakuri is a fantastic antagonist. Well, I debate him. He's allowed to have that opinion. I mean, like the thing is, Sanji's my most hated character in the series, and then King of Lightning loves Sanji, but I'm not going to, just because he likes Sanji, I'm not going to be like, hey, you can't like that character because I don't like them. Totally fine. If he wants to debate on whether or not, like, why I don't like it, that's fine, but I'm not like so butthurt about the characters that I seek out confrontation. Just dude, are you in the camp that doesn't believe Kurosaki is dead? Yeah, she's not dead. What are your guesses for how that will be resolved? My guess is an injury, like what Mihawk gave Zoro. I think she'll be slightly injured. I feel like I think might have been a shallow cut. Have I read the Soul End? I have not. I have not. I would have it if a Vince Smoke and Tribe member had a kid. Would it have 3 curly eyebrows? I mean, maybe. I would be like, why the fuck could you make Hulk concept? But I would just be like asking questions like, why would you do this? Or like, what's the difference here? Like, what all like actual writing problems or like writing issues or like actual questions? Or like, why? How much of a role do your editors actually play? What went up with the marketing scheme for Whole Cake Island? Why do you answer like it's are you having problems controlling your world because you're giving out too much information? You'd be like, kill him. And they bring in that other interviewer that asks some stuff that he knows. Like, oh, so the new Viva cards are coming out. That's right, they are. Oh, Oda Sensei, thank you for having you. Thank you. Yo, just what's up, Big Mom, about the one shot queen? I mean, it's possible. Did I make an entry for Tekken's contest? I did not. When did Ace become my favorite character, and why is he still your favorite character? Ace became, well, he was my second favorite character for a long time. My list for the longest time was Luffy, Nami, Ace, and Ace was my third. But over the past 3 months, I have changed Ace from number 3 to number 1, and I have kicked Luffy out of the top 5. But I love Ace because, I don't know, Oda's best characters are usually the ones that he doesn't delve into too much. And like they're not like a long reoccurring character that's a part of a lot of arcs. Because, you know, he doesn't have a chance to, you know. But I love Ace. I love the tragedy. I love tragedy. That's probably a big reason. That's part of it. Guys get 200 sex. Gee, Drizzy, 200 sex. What was that, Swedish, right? Sweden? Thank you, my boy Axel. We be getting the sex tonight for the first time in my life. Will I ever have a net attack with Lord Tai? Yeah, eventually. The meme's on the way. But I think Luffy, Law, and Kid can actually defeat Kaido. The only way Kaido goes out this arc is if Kid, Luffy, Law, Zoro, Killer, Drake versus Kaido, Commander versus Samurais. I think there's actually a reasonable way to write, I mean, quote unquote, reasonable way to write Law, Luffy, and Kid beating Kaido, but it has to come at the expense of nerfing Kaido. Because it's going to happen. They're not actually strong enough to defeat Kaido. He has to be nerfed. They're not ready. For the Sanji hardening debate, I know Devil Lake won't say anything because I literally just, me and him yelled at each other in a DM about this. No. So for the judge thing, Sanji used hockey but not hardening. Right? There was no shiny black on him at all, and he has never been able to use it. And the fact is that everyone that has been able to use hardening, it's been displayed, like it's been something that's been confirmed and not been guessed at or speculated. Because you can have invisible hockey but not have hardening hockey. And like it's a really arbitrary ability to not confirm. Like when Zoro had it, it's like boom, okay, yeah, that's hardening hockey. Luffy had it, boom, right away. That's hardening hockey. Confirmed it. Sanji, it's never been confirmed, and it makes sense with what we know about him right now. It's never been highlighted as an ability for him. One, Sanji struggles in defense. I mean, like, it's like, why would Oda not make it a thing? Like, why would it not be obvious? And whenever Sanji was fighting people, whenever he, like, if you want to make the black leg argument, it's because it's hidden by his pants. Whenever Sanji was in his white outfit for Whole Cake Island, what's the justification for never using hardening ever against any of the people who was fighting? People veteran level, people that were actually people he would have to try against to beat. There's no reason for why that wouldn't be the case. And it makes sense with the raid suit. Sanji has trouble beating people with great defense. Broke his shin instantly against Virgo. They called him weak. The raid suit increases the defense so that Sanji doesn't need hardening. And that's kind of the entire point of Diablo Jambe to begin with. Is whenever you go back to the fight with Jabra, Sanji didn't get some super powerful attack. He got Diablo Jambe as a means to combat the Tekkai that Jabra had, which is like, if you wanted to make it into the post-time stuff, it's basically like, I need to find a way to overcome hardening hockey. Or like, I need to find a way to overcome a hardening ability that's defense because I don't have the necessary same ability to beat that. So I need Diablo Jambe to overcome that. Sanji, heading into the future, I think, will never need hardening hockey unless Oda makes it a thing, as long as his Diablo Jambe gets increased so it will bypass the hockey. For me, at least. Also, is that another 100 sex? Feed Snickers too? You already know. Blackbird, I thought Sanji used armament in his fight with Judge. Keep up the good work, Drizzt. Yeah, thanks for the $5, Blackbird. But I answered that, so yep. Why Ace, he was built to die? Just because he was built to die does not mean he wasn't a good character. Ace is selfish like Sanji. Why do you like him? Ace paid the price for his selfishness. He died. He made the wrong choice and suffered the consequences. Unlike other characters in the series, they don't suffer the consequences. Ace was a flawed character. And it came back to bite him in the ass for it. Just do. What was your opinion on the pacing of this last chapter? Like, why was Nami found out in the attic? What did that do? Why is Robin's first reaction against Scrubs to hide and doubt herself? What I think of the pacing, I didn't think it was good. Cody, I didn't think it was good. Is are you saying Sanji can't hit a Logia type? No, you can still grab Logias with regular hockey. Luffy did it against Caesar, right? Whenever he went up behind Caesar and just grabbed them, he didn't have hardening. You don't need hardening to grab them. Was Sanji really trained? He just ran away from the Okama and learned how to cook better. I mean, he got stronger as a result of fighting in the martial arts, but I mean, there's a clear difference between the level, the quality of combat. I mean, just compare the people that Sanji was under compared to Luffy and Zoro. I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. Luffy gets right hand man to the Pirate King, really, who's ridiculously strong. Zoro gets one of the strongest people in the verse. He gets the world's strongest swordsman in Mihawk. And then Sanji gets debatably not even top 3 in the revolutionaries. I mean, and his main focus in the time skip was cooking, not fighting like Luffy and Zoro. Luffy focused on hockey, Zoro focused on swordsmanship. Sanji, his primary focus was cooking, but as a consequence, he got stronger. It's like a difference, like the training was on a different level. Could you expand on why you think Tower of God's power levels are over the place? Excluding Bomb, that isn't a regular and has an unknown past. Other characters are more or less evolving at a normal speed. Because, so here's the thing, right? People who, like, I won't use Bomb. Every one of the top rankers, they all have basically world level destruction abilities, and like the attacks come out of nowhere. There's like no semblance of like what skills even are. Like in, like there's like Shinsu, right? And in Shinsu, it's like there's a billion things you can do. People just create things out of nothing, giant spears, planetary destruction things. It's like Dragon Ball Z. There's no tact, there's no skill to it, and the abilities come out of nowhere. It's like it's ridiculously taking you out of the immersion because everyone does it. There's like it's not really nothing special about it. There's really no technique in it that's like makes someone better than someone else. They're just like, my blast is bigger than yours, so I win. Yeah, I like the Ace novels. I haven't read them. I've only read the summaries. How many arcs after Wano? I mean, maybe 4. So I believe that Zoro and Sanji should get into fights and get their asses whooped before fighting King and Queen. I mean, in my opinion, yeah. I would like to see them struggle. I would like to see them lose. I would like to see them get up from defeat and then, win. Um, at least justify them beating a commander if that's what's going to happen. Just dude, I agree with the levels of hockey theory. Hockey, the hardening, then color of armament, then block. Do you agree with King's interpretation of observation hockey? The two types. The two types. What was it? What do you say? Precognition and like dick hockey or something? I talked about this before I caught the stream, but what are your current thoughts about Kyoshiro? Potential, great potential. I kind of like him being in the gray area in terms of morality as I perceive him. But I need to know more about Kyoshiro. Nemo.
What are some future moments from Nami you would like to see in terms of character fights, etc.? Nami getting a fight in general, against a character that's serious and isn't a meme, that would be absolutely amazing. A serious fight with Nami. Oh, baby, that would be amazing. Nami actually, I just, oh, as far as character moments go, I need Nami to develop a flaw. I need Nami to develop a flaw, because she doesn't really have one. I need her to develop in some way. Make something interesting happen with Nami because she's kind of just like there right now. I need maybe like an insecurity somewhere that she needs to get over with, something somewhere to kind of like rev the engine back up. At least that's what I want. I mean, it probably won't happen at all, but I don't know. I want Nami's heritage to be a thing, like her real name, stuff like that. I would like navigation to be to matter in One Piece. That would be great. I've ever read History's Strongest Disciple Kenichi. I have Solo Dolo Solomon. Or Solomon, that should be. I saw Solo Dolo and I just thought Smite. But yeah, I've read it. But I think Nami's getting her own arc post time skip. Her own arc? No, I don't think so. I think there might be a subplot developed or focused around Nami, but getting her own arc, I don't think Oda has any more time to do that anymore. With how convoluted he's making arcs and how he's combining stuff, it's gonna be very hard. Nami's flaws are great. That's not a flaw because it's never gotten her to any trouble. In fact, Nami's greed has only really helped people. It's not an obvious flaw. It hasn't done anything to do harmful. It's not like she's greedy to the point where it actually hurts people. I mean, it's just a gag. It's not a flaw. Like the gag doesn't define Nami, so it has to become a flaw. Other characters come for the shots. The gag defines them, and that makes them a bad flaw, but not in a good way. Like there are good flaws and there are bad flaws. She had that flaw in all on trusting people. Yeah, that was at the beginning of the series. Now we're 22 years into the series. I mean, you can give something else to Nami. And if it's not like a character development thing, then just make her more proactive in the plot. I would be completely content with Nami if she had a more proactive role in the plot outside of damsel in distress and fan service. You know, make Nami interact with the characters more instead of making Nami change. You can make Nami change others as a result. That would be another easy way to go around the idea of just having your characters have flaws that need to be explored. Um, have them help other characters. Nami doesn't really do that. You know, she doesn't really meet characters to help out, or she doesn't like have some internal struggle she has to help other people out with. It never usually the case. Is Hawkeye a navigator? The sea navigates. It's like Mihawk is like Chuck Norris, where like he just gets in the boat and the Grand Line just puts him wherever he wants to. What do I think would be a good flaw for Nami to overcome? I have an idea, but I don't want to say because I'll get BM'd. Little boys don't like that, Drizzt. That's what Oda said. I know. I know. Relying on others can be considered as a flaw. You're right, but like here's the thing. It's like really weird. Whenever Nami was, I think this was against Khalifa. Whenever Nami was fighting Khalifa, she made a statement like she would never like she would be game to fight people and she wouldn't hide behind people. And then just like how Usopp did a reverse after training, the first thing she does in Fisherman Island is she just like hides behind Sanji, Usopp, and someone else. Even though like during Ennie's lobby in serious situations, like yeah, I'll fight. And then in Whole Cake Island, she's like all down to fight with Luffy. And like that gets skipped. Her dedication gets skipped. Still butthurt about that. Yo, what's up, One Straw Hat? Mm-mm-mm. Thanks for the signal boost. You think it's a good idea to add a flaw at this point? I mean, it depends. At least make them more complex than just a circumstance of the plot. I mean, you either give them flaws or make them have some psyche development that changes their life, or like that they have to overcome, or like some insecurity. It could be just being an insecurity. Insecurities are something that you could easily fabricate. You know, or just like mainly stories make them more proactive. Because why do you think Ace was the second strongest commander of the Whitebeard Pirates? I've kind of gone over this multiple times. One, I think Ace's portrayal is better than all of the lower division commanders. I feel like he did a lot more. He also went up against stronger admirals and then he didn't get his shit wrecked. But I also said before, kind of like goes like in hierarchy, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thing. I know that doesn't necessarily always mean strength, but the way that it was organized, I think that actually makes sense for the strength that it was at. 1 Marco, 2 Ace, 3 Jozu. I feel like that actually makes sense with the way they were portrayed in Marineford. I honestly believe that Luffy and Nami versus Cracker could have been one of the best fights in the series. That's because it had the potential to be one of the best fights in the series, if not the best. There was so much potential there, but out the window. You mean regress the characters to make it seem like they got development? No, you don't have to regress characters to introduce a flaw. Just put them in a situation where their lack of an ability becomes apparent to them. Like as Nami, for an example. Let's say Nami's lack of her own strength causes situation. Let's say Nami, being the damsel in distress, causes one of the Straw Hats to have a serious life-threatening injury because they had to go out of their way to protect them. And that causes an insecurity in Nami where she's like, I'm a burden on the crew. I'm not strong enough. Me training in the 2 year time skip, it didn't do anything. And it's something that it could create a character moment within the crew where it's like, it helps her, she has to learn her place, or it's like, the crew talks to her. And it's like, it could be a bonding moment. Very easy to do. You can do that with most of the characters. The fight was still good, to be honest. The Cracker fight was shit. It was actually garbage. It started off good and then it just devolved into nonsense. How would you rewrite Luffy slash Nami versus Cracker? Aside from invisibility, wanting to see the actual fight. Well, I mean, you just do what you do with normal fights, is actually show the entire fight instead of just like, because Oda basically just took a cheat card in the fight and just said, yeah, they ran away for 11 hours, whatever. You know, they did a loop for 11 hours, and at the 11th hour, Cracker defeated himself. That's how the fight went. You could have introduced things, because obviously Cracker was kind of, I mean, to be honest, he was basically winning. Even with the ultimate counter to his Devil Fruit in water and Luffy having 11 hours at his disposal, they still weren't able to do anything with him. Cracker had to defeat himself for Luffy to be able to win. There are so many things you could have introduced there that actually showcased both people's, not only both their abilities, like Nami's abilities in the post time skip, which you could create a billion things for her to do, but you could also introduce a type of synergy that the people have when fighting with each other, or a lack thereof. Like they're both thinking of doing one thing and they don't do it, and then they have to learn to cooperate with each other in order to get something done. I mean, the fight could have been amazing, especially for someone like Nami, because she's never going to have the chance to fight another commander to an end ever again in the series. Why was the lightning from Zeus black this time when Nami struck her attack? Did she learn Thunderclap from Kaido by observing it? I think it was just to make it look cool. Is the post review always a Q&A? It is. Drizzt could see you without your glasses. I cannot see without my glasses. That's the problem. Sweet commanders are too strong for the current plot. I don't even believe that though. Like, I mean, with the way that Oda draws fights, that's the case, but I don't know. What are some underrated devil fruits? Robin. Robin, because she's not allowed to do anything with her devil fruit. Robin has an absolutely amazing devil fruit. Why isn't Luffy in your top 5 favorite? What happened? What could change with Luffy to get him back to number 1? Luffy could mature. That would get him back to number 1. Luffy could develop as a character. It almost seems like Luffy just like the time skip thing. I have a really hard time like separating myself from the fact that Luffy, the time skip didn't even matter to him as a character, didn't change shit, didn't learn anything, just as stupid and as ignorant as he was before. I don't know. Miss me with that. And plus, in combination with the way Luffy's been written, it's hard to care about Luffy as a character at this point in time. I have no connection or no this. Even the points in time when I got excited for Luffy, I didn't like the way Oda handled him. Like Gear 4, I said this in Braga stream yesterday. I do not like the way Oda's handled Gear 4. Oda took one of the most hype things in the verse and just made it just mundane, off-screened. Luffy's injuries never matter, you know. Like whenever Luffy got stabbed by Katakuri, I don't know if I was more hyped for a moment in the post time skip than I was for that moment, because I was like, oh my god, definitive injury. Luffy, oh my god, this is going to bring up so many moments. Luffy struggling through pain, him going through the fight, just like he was in the pre-time skip whenever he was fighting like Magellan or Lucci. It was going to be like, oh, you're going to feel Luffy's pain. You know, it's going to make a great character moment for Chopper and the crew when they see how fucked up Luffy is, what he went through to beat Katakuri, and none of it mattered. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, whenever Luffy gets hurt, I don't care. Luffy gets defeated by Kaido. I'm never given a reason to care. Luffy's fine, doing his own thing. Nothing matters to him. Whatever. No, I don't have a reason to care about Luffy right now. Outside of him being the main protagonist. Did your bloodlust warring? That's not even bloodlust. That's just like I want to be convinced of what's happening. I want to see emotion. I want to see grit. I want to see guts. I want to see bonding moments between the crew. I want to see the Straw Hat family, quote unquote, act like a family. I don't know. Maybe it's asking too much, but that's what I wanted to see. $2 from land. Told you Anel was a ninja. I'm expecting too much from a shonen. I mean, you're probably right, but eh. But I think Robin could combine her clone ability and make giant body parts, just make a giant version of herself. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities with Robin. I can't deny it, but I mean, we don't really know what Robin's cap is. Do I even like One Piece? I like One Piece. I do like it, but there are a lot of things that have been slowly grinding my gears down because I want to see One Piece greatness and I haven't seen it in a long time. That's what I said. That's what I told. Like I was talking to people, and that's what I said. So you obviously know, I do not like Whole Cake Island. So if Wano ends up being another Whole Cake Island, like I would probably lose my love for One Piece. But I would basically treat it like a fairy tale where I'm in too deep, and I gotta know what the ending is. But we'll see. Wano should be a top 3 arc by all metrics. It hasn't started out good, but it should end great. So we'll see. But I think Sanji will hit a woman after he said you can't be stoned with hitting Yonko crew. That's what I've been talking about for a while, CPT. I think that this might be the start of me caring about the Straw Hats again. Because if Sanji's throwing away his pride, maybe he'll hit a woman and I'll actually start to like his character. Maybe Luffy will start to grow up. He'll develop as a character. That would be absolutely. I would fucking cream myself. I would be jumping up for joy. I would be just like squealing in glee. You're asking too much for the context of the story. There are a ton of moving parts right now. Oda can't fully develop any one aspect at once because he's setting up a crescendo. I'm not asking for too much for the characters to be engaged within the plot. I did like regardless of what you say, I do not think that's too much to ask for. Because we've seen Oda do it in the pre-time skip. Just you like character-driven stories, and Oda doesn't really put that much focus on that. He's more interested in the world building. Well, here's the thing, like that you're right. Oda does focus on the world building, but your world doesn't work if your characters don't interact with it. Because even world building, those are inherently character-driven stories. It's just that it's like an epic fantasy. All epic fantasies still focus around the characters essentially. The characters make the plot and the conflict move. If you take out the characters, the plot doesn't matter and the conflict doesn't matter. It's like the big 3 circles. Like when you're talking about epic fantasy, it's like what it's setting, character, and conflict. So the setting doesn't matter if the character isn't there. The conflict doesn't matter if the character isn't there, and like vice versa. You need all 3, but the characters have to be kind of like a really big focus of that. Hitting a woman is growing as a character. Okay, leaving channel now. Why wouldn't it be growing as a character, Edward? If you're still here, why wouldn't that be growing as a character? That's arguably one of Sanji's biggest flaws as a character. Because it's inherently tied with his ideology, which is wrong. I don't think King and Queen even counts strits. I mean, you're probably right. It probably doesn't count, but I still like to see it. You were hyped as hell to see Koshiro take action. I was like, oh my god, reason to care initially. Drizzt, are you pumped for Koshiro's possibilities after today's chapter? Yeah, Koshiro is one of my hopes for Wano, man. I like what I'm seeing so far with Koshiro. I really like it. Koshiro number 1. Sanji not hitting a woman isn't just pride. Zeph literally threatened to kill himself if Sanji hit a woman. He does it out of respect, and it's morally incorrect. That's Sanji's belief, but it's at the consequence of his loved ones. That was like the biggest thing. It's like, what aside from Sanji being like a predator, Sanji choosing his pride over the livelihood of his friends is a bad and it's a morally incorrect thing. That's one of the major things in One Piece is people choosing the pride/career over the right decision, and they suffer for it. Yo, what's up, Leston? How you doing, man? No, it's not opinion. Like, this is a matter of morality. Throwing away your petty pride to not hit a woman at the cost of all of your friends' lives, all of them. You're willing to sacrifice all of them for your petty pride. I can't get along with that. I'm sorry. Did you ever think about writing a book or doing anything related to literature? I mean, originally growing up, I wanted to be a writer, but I mean, knowing me, it probably I have horrible work ethic, and you need to be on point when writing a book. You can't wait to say Kamizo. Yeah, Kamizo. Hopefully, he gets introduced soon. I like he has a scythe. I automatically like that. Sanji will live with that flaw. It's always what Oda emphasized. Yeah, but he's living with it. But Oda's making it seem like it's the correct thing to do, and it's morally incorrect. And I fundamentally disagree with it. That's part of what makes Sanji so reprehensible. But 832, whenever Sanji casted away part of his pride to put on the raid suit, was the best moment for Sanji in the entire series for me. Not hype wise, but as a character, that was the best moment I've ever seen. I've seen Sanji throwing away the thing that he kept on through so much, even at the detriment of his friends' lives. He threw it away to put the raid suit. That's the potential for good things, and Sanji can change. That's what I'm seeing. So I'm excited because I want to like them. It just morally disagree with it. Probably is an interesting topic we could talk about in the next Drizzt. All right, Christian, you're down. Not true. Drizzt George R. R. Martin has trash work ethic, so does Patrick Rothfuss. Both successful. Give it a try. Well, here's the thing. George R. R. Martin now has a bag worth of it, but he still put out a bunch of books. They're really big books too. That takes a lot of effort to do. Like, one, you have to outline, you have to do your manuscript for your story, you have to edit it a bunch of times. It's really hard to write a book. One problem Sanji's thing about not hitting women isn't just pride, it also means throwing away Zeph and his own morality. You I inherently disagree with that. Because one of the morals of Barate was you're not paying anyone back by basically dying yourself or doing things that are stupid. And that's a stupid thing to do. Sanji can do it because he's like, oh, I'd be throwing away stuff if I didn't, but that's so childish. It's like, oh, if I don't do exactly as Zeph did, then I'm basically throwing away everything he did for me. That's stupid. Fine, let your friends die. Let them all die, but they won't because you're a main character and they all have to live. That was the real world, and you willingly let someone basically defeat you, even though the entire situation was everyone was going to die. That's on you. That's all of their. If everyone died, that's literally on you because that's your pride. You killed them. You know a lot about Kyle's commanders are a disappointment. I don't know if they're a disappointment. We just haven't really seen them that much. So I'm not willing to call them a disappointment yet. We haven't seen much. Oh, you're just correcting me on being a pride. Okay, fair enough, Devil. Fair enough. Fair enough. If Sanji died because of his flaw, would you like him? Is it the same as the Ace scenario? It would be different with Sanji because we had gone through the entire series of that like being right. Like if that was a consequence, I would like Sanji more because he paid for the consequence of his own actions instead of being saved and being like, oh yeah, it's always right. It would definitely make me feel better that the people suffer the consequence of their actions. The better story mechanic for me, at least. I mean, it's part of the reason why I love Berserk. It's like part of the Band of the Hawk dying is directly placed upon Guts. It's basically Guts' fault, partially, that all of them died. Prize a romantic ideal that Oda likes to explore. We see both sides, neg and positive. The Giants are shown positively, even though the pride makes them stupid to things. Yeah, we do see the negatives and positives. I agree, Christian. But the negatives are like way over the top for me. Like a lot of like the parents dying in One Piece has to deal with the fact that their pride or their prioritization of their career ruins their children, and they're supposed to be martyrs for some reason, even though they did something fucking stupid. I didn't just blame Guts. I said he's partially to blame. He is partially to blame because he basically gave Griffith the okay that, remember when Griffith after he burns the queen of the Midland, right? Griffith and the assassination happens. He literally asks, before the scene happens, Guts says, "Wow, isn't this cruel, Griffith?" And then Griffith asks Guts after everything is done, like, "Is what I'm doing bad? Am I being cruel?" And then Guts, in his own depression, because Guts was basically an emo at this point in time, Guts said, "Yeah, you're fine." And Griffith was looking for someone to rely on because he was emotionally stressed as well. Part of it is Guts' fault for not realizing what was going on with Griffith, because that's an integral part of the story for Berserk, is them trying to understand each other, and then Guts, fundamentally, he refuses to see the truth about Griffith. That's basically what causes the eclipse. Even though Casca tells him multiple times, Guts refuses to accept the truth. indirectly just taking shots at Bellemere. Yeah, Bellemere is retarded, dude. I like Bellemere, but what she did was actually incorrect. Did I ever like Sanji's character? No, never. What did Bellemere do wrong? Bellemere chose her pride. Bellemere chose her pride over her life. As a consequence, her children suffered because of it. It was the incorrect thing to do. It might be noble in a sense, but it's incorrect. Pimento cheese is a dumb concept. Oh, yeah? How did she do that? Because she wanted the idea of being recognized as a family on a piece of paper or not being recognized as a family on a piece of paper over the actual lives of her children. Because remember, like the context, like what happened in the context was that, she didn't have to pay for because like Arlong was rounding up the money for all the residents and they weren't marked as part of her family. And then Bellemere was like, I can't say that they weren't part of my family because I love them and stuff. Even though the right decision would have been, yeah, keep your own life and the lives of everyone else related to you and don't take away your presence as a mother to growing children by just sacrificing your pride. Take it on the chin. That's what's best for your children. Just like Ovia. Ovia did the exact same thing as Bellemere. She basically committed suicide to leave her young child alone that she had basically never cared for anyway. Your pride typically is a fabric of your being. Throwing it away is honestly a shonen thing for fabricated development. Yeah, I'm not saying it isn't development, but I'm saying that it's morally incorrect, Brago. Olvia knew forbidden knowledge, though. Okay, and what's up, calendar? How you doing? Morally incorrect? Yeah. It is not the correct thing to do to choose go killing yourself over being present within your family's life. Especially killing yourself over essentially nothing. Marines can't show up because dragon is on their neck. Neck. What is that emoji, young? Moyai? So back to the chapter. How would you feel if we cut back to the family and Sanji is laid out and Jake is standing over him? I don't know. That would be. I don't see it happening. Within honor structure cultures, it is justified? No. That's like saying within Nazi Germany, because their culture was about killing people, it was justified for them to do it. Doesn't make it right. 100 years ago, to quote Bill Burr, 100 years ago, I could have hit you with a fucking mop handle and it would be acceptable if you're a woman. That doesn't make it right. The stream going up? Probably. Probably. Yeah. I might actually with this stream, I think I might private it and then download it and then upload the review as something else. Perhaps. So what you're trying to make, what you're trying to make by saying it's morally wrong that characters aren't human. I'm not saying that the Strats aren't human. I never said they aren't human. I'm saying I don't like them because I fundamentally disagree with their morality, and it's something I cannot cope with because it's portrayed to be correct, which I think is wrong. Which I agree, but in One Piece, selfless sacrifice is seen as morally correct. That may be true, but that doesn't mean I have to do that. Garp doesn't get enough respect. I like Garp because Garp chose. I mean, I think Brago would probably agree with this. Garp made the wrong decision for the wrong reasons at that point in time for him, and he chose to regret it later because it came at the sacrifice of Ace. Which kind of brings up like a redemption thing for Garp, which is why I like Garp. As I said before, when it comes to Bellemere, I still like Bellemere as a character. I still like Ovia as a character. I just think they're morally incorrect. What they did was stupid. I'm okay with people doing stupid stuff, but I'm going to call it out when I see it. Now, that's why I like him. Just but Brago thinks a healthy Garp couldn't beat beaten down Akainu, which is blasphemous. I don't think so. Akainu is destroying Garp. I agree with Brago there. A healthy Garp is not beating a beaten down Akainu. Akainu is too strong. Does Garp actually regret it though? If a scenario similar happened again, do you think he would put his family over his job now? Yes, he would. I feel like he would because his entire mentality changed. He chose to take a backseat in the Navy. Obviously, had a great toll on him. Like what he did as a consequence, like same with Sengoku. Like after like the stress of Marineford and everything that happened, all of the death, the blood, the killing, he's like, I'm done. I can't do this. Same with Garp. He basically let Ace die for basically no good reason. And he basically like, okay, I gotta just instant regret. But I think Zoro uses the 3-sword style to butter his toast, you bet. Think Garp will be killed by the Lurking Legend? Why? Why the Lurking Legend? Do I think Dragon is immoral? I don't really know Dragon's morality, so. Yo, just do you think Kobe is under Vice Admiral level? Vice Admiral level is kind of like a really vague term because the scale varies from people who are considered to be admiral candidates to fodder. So I don't really know where on that scale you're talking about. Drizzt Brago, someone on the same level as Garp destroyed Akainu, so why wouldn't Garp do the same too if he destroyed Akainu? Last time I saw, Akainu took completely unprotected the strongest attack that Whitebeard or Yonko could throw at him, and then afterwards, Akainu was fine. He got back up and still beat ass. If that fight lasted longer, Akainu wins. He beats Whitebeard. I think Zoro will fight King. I think that's a possibility. I'm not sure how confident I am. I need to see more of the story. Can Momosagi beat Virgo in a fight? A lot of people can beat Virgo in a fight. No, people seriously underestimate how strong Akainu is, especially because the pre-time skip power scaling is so completely off. It took all the power of a Wiper on Death's Door. It was still a full-powered attack. Akainu's attacks do more damage than Whitebeard's attacks at that point in time. And besides, at that point in time, like, whenever they were fighting face-to-face, Akainu was basically winning. Akainu basically got ganked by Whitebeard for Whitebeard to be able to do the damage he did. I mean, it is what it is. Where's Snickers? She's outside. She's been kicked out. But I think he beats a Wiper before Squardo stab him. There is how much damage does a stab on Whitebeard do? I mean, Akainu has magma destruction abilities that completely destroy Whitebeard's brain. Is Big Mom gonna be a new Straw Hat? I hope not. There's no, I agree. Akainu is winning 10 attempts to fight against both Garp and Whitebeard, but what I'm arguing here is Garp should be able to do some damage that Whitebeard did. Oh, do some damage? I thought you meant like beat. Oh, yeah. Garp is doing damage to Akainu. He's not going out without doing some damage, but Akainu still beats him. Yeah. Garp does damage. He can tango. Who's my favorite character? Ace. How strong do I think Aokiji is? I think Aokiji's top 10, but he's not. If him and Akainu fought again, it would be much, much easier for Akainu now. So do I think Akainu beats old Gold Roger? It depends on how old Gold Roger is. What's his status in the world? I don't know, buy that Akainu wink. I don't understand why not. Oda has specifically gone out of his way to wank the shit out of Akainu. Clearly the strongest admiral, became fleet admiral, single-handedly scared off Blackbeard and his entire new crew despite Blackbeard having a new devil fruit and the numbers advantage against only Akainu on a warship, yet he ran away because Akainu's that guy. Akainu is ridiculously strong, beat Aokiji, became stronger. Oda said basically it's one of the most destructive devil fruits in the series in terms of attack power, and that if Akainu was trying to find the One Piece, he would find it within 1 year and the series would be over. I mean, come on. Oda has said nothing like that compared to any other admiral. Akainu stands up and above them in terms of how Oda portrays them and how Oda wants you to think he is. Like, he is that good. Plus, he's got a rivalry with, obviously, to some degree, with Dragon. And Dragon's arguably one of the strongest, or the strongest person we know that isn't Emu. Like, there's a lot of stuff here. Still under any Yonkos. I'm taking Akainu over probably half the Yonko. I'm talking about after Marineford, Shammy. After Marineford, whenever Blackbeard basically subdued Bonnie and basically asked her to be his sex slave, who came and broke that seam up? Akainu. Blackbeard had his entire crew, the entire Yonko crew there, plus 2 devil fruits, and they ran away from Akainu. They didn't want any of that. And then even after this isn't power scaling, right? This just shows you how much Oda loves Akainu. Oda thinks that of all of the men in the series, Akainu's the sexiest. He's the most handsome man in the world because he was designed after someone that Oda thought was the most handsome person in the world. Like, the wank is real. The wank is real. Oda loves him. Oda loves Akainu, dude. And because Oda loves him and he wanks him this much, he's really, really insanely strong. Seriously, I'm not making that up. Oda thinks Akainu's hot shit. Did Oda really say he's handsome? Yeah, because so you guys know the admirals are designed off of actual Japanese actors. And the actor that Akainu was modeled after, Oda basically said, yeah, he's the most handsome man who ever lived, basically. But Oda's got a fanboy on the guy, like, and that's the guy he chose to model Akainu. What more do you need? Why didn't Akainu at least try to punch Shanks? Because the war was called off. Like, a common misconception. If that war had continued, Akainu was fully ready to go hands with everyone. Like, whenever Shanks blocked, Akainu was surprised because why wouldn't you be surprised that a Yonko suddenly came up and blocked your attack? It's like, oh, I didn't expect this. But it's not like if Sengoku hadn't ordered the entire war called off, he wouldn't have fought. Akainu ain't no bitch. They don't call him the mad dog for nothing, dude. Like, seriously, like, people think I'm crazy. Like, I must be, like, on YouTube, I must be the #1 Akainu wanker. But seriously, man, it's like, Oda has given you enough reason. Even recently, in whenever we did the top 30 most recent power scaling thing, King of Lighting even admitted, like, yeah, Oda really wanks him to a ridiculous degree. So he stands out. Even Cole, who at the year prior had argued that Aokiji was stronger than Akainu because he was like, he masters Devil Fruit. The year after more information came out, he's like, okay, I can't deny it anymore. Even King of Lightning changed his mind on it. If he can change his mind on it, other people gotta realize how nasty Akainu is. He's that guy. Bought the Mistborn trilogy. Haven't finished it all yet, but have you read the Stormlight? Hell yeah. I haven't read it, but everyone says it's better than Mistborn, which is pretty crazy. Do I agree? Yeah, it's honestly, it's like it's a couple tiers above Mistborn. I love the Stormlight Archive. Akainu want them with smoke from Shanks, bro. Dude, Akainu doesn't care, dude. Literally, Akainu is so bloodthirsty. He would have kept fighting. Like, it's not like he would have been like, Sengoku, we should probably call this off. You want me to do it before you do it? Dude, Akainu doesn't give a fuck. You're taking Blackbeard running away out of context, but had just gotten his fruit, and he was in an environment that favored Akainu. An environment that favored Akainu? What, on the ocean? On a place where you fight? On an island? You are right in the sense that he had just got his fruit, but the fact of the matter is that scene was used to portray how intimidating Akainu was. It wasn't like it was Akainu, vice admirals, and like Kizaru. It was two admirals. It was just a navy ship with the only person that mattered, Akainu, standing on top, which implies that it was supposed to be a scene that propped up Akainu. It's like, Jesus Christ, Akainu is coming after us. He had just got done fighting in Marineford, and he came after us. It makes Akainu look good by proxy. I think Aokiji is stronger than half of the Yonko as well. No, because here's the thing. I have no reason to believe as of now that Aokiji got stronger over the time skip. Out of the two people, the only person that seems to have gotten stronger, plus with portrayal from Oda, plus with a rank to prove it, is Akainu. Akainu won the fight, he probably got stronger. Whereas Aokiji, he might have plateaued. He's the one who lost the limb. Akainu kept his, and then got the status. He got Fleet Admiral. He's stronger now. So I think Akainu's in a league of his own when he's compared to the admirals. There is no proof that Aokiji's Devil Fruit weakness is Akainu's. Like, if you want to do scientifically, instead of Oda's magic verse, then scientifically there's no matchup like weakness. It's not like it's fire and ice. Magma doesn't act the same way on ice that fire does. And this isn't just Akainu. It's like, so during the reverie, right? The person who offered to go break up Kaido and Big Mom was who? Kizaru. And he basically asked Akainu, like, Akainu, you want me to go break this up? I mean, Kizaru is also, he's not afraid. I mean, whenever you have an admiral offering to go break up the meeting and potential joining of two Yonko by himself, yo. Hype. I kind of won the fight. You probably got stronger. That's how it works. I mean, Rayleigh even said it. We've seen it a lot of times before. To get stronger, you have to fight strong people, and the person who wins gets stronger. Pretty easy. Drizzt, I do have a question for you. Do you think pre-time system Goku was stronger than Akainu because he was the fleet admiral, or no? It's a good question. It's hard to say. Oda was really weird with the way that not only Garp but Sengoku was portrayed. Because of their old age, it's hard to tell whether or not they were there because of longevity in terms of them just having the rank, because they don't get challenged for it, or not. So it's kind of hard to say with Sengoku. Which characters that we haven't seen nothing about you think are as strong as Akainu? I think Dragon's stronger than Akainu. I think Kaido is probably stronger than Akainu, although you could debate that. I think Kaido is probably stronger than Akainu in a 1v1. Bet on Kaido. And probably like Emu. Debatably Shanks as well. So those are all characters I would go to argue greater than Akainu. How do I want a Luffy and Garp interaction to go? Go full detail if I could. I kind of brought this weird headcanon to Brago when we were talking before, but I would really love it if there was actually some tension between Luffy and Garp, because they haven't talked to each other since Ace's death. That's a couple years, man. How are things going to be normal between them after like they know what happened? That's going to be really awkward. Or if it was real life, it'd be awkward. If a Yonko is 100, then what is an admiral? I'd say 80, just going off of Marineford portrayal. Well, I'm not counting Akainu in there because I think Akainu is Yonko level. But yeah, probably like at 80, 80, 90, something like that. So you don't think the loser gets stronger too in a high def fight? And they could get stronger, but I mean, from what we've seen in the series, it seems pretty obvious that the person who wins gets way stronger. Like way stronger than the person. Like, cause like the loser doesn't always catch up. Or unless we have a reason to believe that they did. That's why I said I made the addendum with Aokiji. I have no reason to believe he got stronger. Like that much stronger to still be on par with Akainu. And besides, it seems pretty evident that's like Akainu actually spared Aokiji's life. Like it was supposed to be a battle to the death, and Aokiji lost his leg, and Akainu didn't. So there's obviously a difference in between the strength of them just right there. That Akainu actually had to spare his life. So. There's a random question. Do you think Oda is stalling right now for some reason? Stalling? Stalling for what? Stalling in what way? Do I think Kaido is stronger than Shanks? You can make an argument for either or.
I just have Kaido number one because that's, I mean, with like Kaido, Dragon, and Shanks, excluding Emu, you can argue either one of those to be the strongest person in the verse, and I think it makes sense, honestly. So how strong do I think was Prime really? Admiral level or close to Prime Garp Sengoku? Good question. Good question, and a really hard one to answer because it depends on where Oda's going to go, end of story, but it depends on your headcanon. If you think that Oda kind of wants to keep Zoro and Luffy close at the end of the series, but obviously not right now, then you'd probably say Prime really is probably near like Yonko level. Somewhere between Yonko, I would say. Whew. Shoes are untied. Daniel? Like in Wano, he's delaying the Poneglyph info. He's delaying Big Mom Pirates. He's delaying the Samurai actually meeting on Luffy's prison break. I don't know. It's hard to say whether or not he's actually. I think you can actually make the argument that he's actually rushing it, as opposed to uh stalling it. It's kind of weird. I think you can put Mihawk on the list as well, Drizzt. You can put Mihawk on the list. Mihawk's top 5 for me. Top 5 strongest. So I think Emu being strong will be like Kaguya and Naruto. That's what it looks like right now, to me. I never said that, Joro. I was always the one. Literally, if you go back to the streams, I am always the person arguing that Garp is way stronger than people thought he was. Like, way stronger. Like, even in the previous top 30 stream, I was like, listen, Garp deserves all the respect. I'm a Garp fan. I argue Garp's power level. It just, I can't compare him. I can't compare old Garp to the Prime Akainu. Mihawk stronger than Shanks or no? I think Mihawk is equal to Shanks. I think I've explained why multiple times, but I think they're equal to each other. It kind of should be in the running for number 1, 2 along those three, as it wouldn't make sense that the Navy has no one strong like that. And then Akainu's top 5 for me. So the top 5 is very, very ambiguous. Do you think Mihawk is stronger than old Whitebeard? Depends. Really depends. Because here's the thing. I was mentioning this before. It's like unfathomably hard to power scale pre-time skip Whitebeard to post-time skip Yonko. It's ridiculously hard because Whitebeard was technically the strongest man. He was sick. He had all these problems, but he was put onto a pedestal that if he was drawn in the post-time skip, if Marineford was redone in the post-time skip, the power scaling would be way, way different. Like, Marco would look way better. Whitebeard would have looked way better. So, I mean, you could have made the argument. It's hard to back up, but you could make the argument that Whitebeard was actually the strongest Yonko at the point in time that he was at Marineford. Because of how awkward Oda's power scaling is. So. I just came through to say you need to bring your bitch ass to the LA Expo, about to be lit. Yo, Matt, maybe. I might be able to do it. It depends. We'll see. I should have a job lined up. We'll see how that goes, Matt. I might be there. I might. And yo, that thumbnail is fire as fuck. Mihawk is so overrated. People claim he's Yonko level because he used to fight Shanks, but we don't even know Shanks has other skills other than sword fighting. No, Mihawk is underrated. He is not overrated. Mihawk is underrated, in my opinion. I think Mihawk's underrated. Like, no one other than myself in the top 30 stream even gave Mihawk justice. Mihawk is just as strong as Shanks for me. Or if not, just a tiny bit below. And there's plenty of reasons why I believe that. How did my job interview go? I aced it. Literally. They basically said I got the job and they're going to send me a job offer on Monday with like the circumstances of like, you know, what they're going to be doing with me. So your boy finally got one. Finally. Jesus Christ. Do you think there are strong celestial dragons with cool designs? Your guess is as good as mine. I do think that there are probably some normal looking celestial dragons. Although the normal looking ones might be good celestial dragons, and you can back this up. Don Quixote Homing, Dofi's dad. So he was a good guy. In theory, he was a good guy. Very, very, very naive, but he was good. And then, what was that guy? The new Doflamingo guy? The one that basically saved Shirahoshi, he was ugly, and now in his new design, he's actually presentable and looks normal. Normal looking celestial dragons tend to be on the good side because their hideous look outside of the women are intended in my opinion to represent how evil they are inside. So, what job is it? Help desk coordinator. Basically, I'll be that guy that you call for to, like, if you have like, oh hey, I got a problem with my internet, or like I can't log into my school account. You help me out? Yeah, I got you, sir. 1 second. That'll be me. I'm gonna read Kingdom. You're in chapter like 100 or so. Yo, enjoy that Kingdom read, Matt. Did I have to give neck? No, they actually kind of gave me neck because I broke their company record for fastest typing. So they gave me neck. They're like, oh, that's amazing. You're fucking, let me suck you off. I'm like, no. Is Boa second strongest female or Smoothie? Either or. Either or. You can argue both. On the top 30 list, I had Smoothie just because it was a lot easier to argue Smoothie being top 30 than it was for Boa. So it just depends on what Oda does. I hope the interview went well, Rainen. Woshiro the Thought Slayer. Quote unquote, bruh. How fast can you type? I vary between 84 to 90. But I got an 84 on the typing test. 84 words per minute. Why do you think Commanders outrank Doflamingo? I just think that's the way the story had kind of portrayed it, is that Doflamingo was supposed to be the warm-up to the Commanders. And also with like the way they handled Luffy in Luffy's strongest form, the way that Dofi couldn't handle him. Yo, what's up, Drizzt? Give me paw. Yo, what's up, Baked? How you doing, bro? Where do I see Weevil's role in the story? And is he Yonko first mate level? Honestly, this is like something you can throw up in the air, Jordan. A lot of people see Weevil being an ally once he finds out that Miss Balkans is basically fucking around with him, which is a good idea. Or you could also throw the opposite idea, is that Weevil was meant to fight Marco.
It depends if Weave was even like an actual living being or if he was like Moria created or something with all those stitches on him. Is he first mate level? I think he is, personally. $84 words per minute. Types only I and A. No, I because like it was like a word test. Maybe I can. I should have ended the stream like fucking 2 hours ago. But I don't give a shit. Porn. What is this? Actually, what is that? Oh, is that my PayPal? It is. I am gonna. We'll see if I can type under pressure. 1 minute. Oh god, I hate that. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm not gonna do that one. That is just ugly, ugly, ugly. Aesop's Fables. Oh, this is exactly what I did. This is the exact site I used. We did rules of baseball. I think that's what we did. Oh god, and I hated it. Rules of baseball. Wait, was this the exact same paragraph? This is the exact test I took. This is literally the exact test I took. There we go. 2 errors, so I got an 85. So one better than I did at the interview. There you go. Never doubt. Yeah, pro. I guess the 80 to 90 range is considered pro. 100 words per minute, I will donate $100. 100 words per. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's like impossible. I don't even know if that's possible to do. 100 words per minute, Jesus Christ. I don't think I could do that on that test. There's like. Could I don't know. Oh, the Aesop. I might be able to do this one, actually. I don't know. Aesop's really hard to spell. I don't know. I could give it a try. Already have 2 errors. Okay, I'm fucking with this one. Oh no, I'm choking. This is like 50 words per minute. Thank God they didn't make me put this one on. 6 errors, Jesus Christ. I thought this one was gonna be easier. Jesus Christ, 72. Fuck me. At least I'm fast still. Six errors though, Jesus Christ. Average type is 36. We see the struggle. I mean, that was hard. Damn, this is like watching LeBron on the free throw. Shut the fuck up. That was actually kind of a hard one, honestly. Oh, what the fuck is this? What? How the fuck? Why is there a... Uh, eh. Oh, this is impossible. Psi. Jesus Christ. How many? Spida, Psi, Mensis. On. Oh, how do I do that? A. Let's see ya. Oh, Jesus Christ. How do I? Jesus Christ, this is impossible. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's fucking at me. How the fuck do I spell this one? Well, I'm average in whatever list language is. Jesus Christ, that was hard as fuck. Is that Turkish? I don't know what it was. It was hold on, wait. It was Suyomi. Suyomi. What is Suyomi? Finnish? Is that what that was? Did I see? Suyomi means Finnish, Finland and Finnish. Like, I've never even seen Finnish language before. Wow. Okay. The language of my ancestors. That was rough, dude. Oh. Typing Yonko confirmed. It was poneglyph writing. That was poneglyph writing. Jesus Christ. Fuck me up, fam. Anyway, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. It went on way longer than it should have. I think I'm gonna download it and then upload just the review part. Because a lot of it went way different than I thought it was gonna be. But since I won't be uploading it, last questions, maybe like 15 minutes of last questions. Since I won't be uploading this one, I'll be uploading the other section of it. Hashtag. I'll be doing what Brago does with the Don Brago. You know, re-upload the same stuff. Bang. you, baby. Oh, yo, Eric. Yo, Eric, what's up? Personal questions you guys want to ask? Yeah, so actually, what I forgot to tell you guys is I had 2 interviews, right? So the interview today I nailed, and the interview yesterday I did good on the typing test again, and I did good in the interview, but I don't think I'm gonna be called back. So lazy, a live stream review? Yeah, that's literally it, Eric. I was so lazy, I did a live stream review. Does Zoro leave Wano as the strongest in the country? Strongest swordsman? I think so, yeah. Well, at the time of him defeating them, perhaps. Type racer with chat when Kappa. Type. I mean, we can do type racer. We can do type racer. If sees Big Mom out of her right state of mind, do you think he'll try to take her out while he can? You think he would, right? You think he would? But oh my god, I hope he doesn't, because you know what's gonna happen? You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna try and take them out, and then the Strats are gonna protect Big Mom. Just curious, why do you not upload the entire vid and only the review? Well, because this kind of didn't go as I thought it was going to go, as planned. Because I can see there being more issues than I would have liked if I upload the whole thing. So I'm just going to do the review part. Plus, it'll make it easier to watch for other people. I first thought you were a feminist when I saw you won the Rebbies last year. Yeah, a lot of people made that mistake. A lot of people made that mistake. Now they call me sexist. How do I go from one extreme to the other? Nobody knows. I'm just too good. Too good. I don't know. Oh. When is the LA Expo? Is it June or July? June or July, one of those two. Move back to good old Uniontown, Drizzt. I got a room for you in my crib, rent free. Oh my dead ass! I got 3 empty bedrooms. You can have your pick. You couldn't literally, if you gave me free home calendar, I would never, ever, ever move back to Uniontown. That place can rot. Fuck Uniontown. Would I rather get a cybernetic arm or leg? Arm. Well, actually, leg. Leg. I can still play video games with both my real arms. I'll get rid of my leg. Drizzt 100% a cuck. No, I'm not a cuck. I hate getting cucked. Why isn't My Hero on the same level as One Piece? It's a really young series, Jordan. It's a really, really young series, and I don't think it's nearly as ambitious as One Piece, if you ask me. I don't know. It's gonna be like a generational thing, but One Piece in its what's it 8th year of serial? How many years has My Hero been serialized? How long has My Hero been serialized? Jesus Christ, where's the actual? It doesn't fucking say. 2014? That doesn't sound right. Is 2014? I thought My Hero had a shit ton of chapters. Oh, 2014. That explains it's really, really young. What's your thoughts on Griffith did nothing wrong? Do I agree? No, Griffith did something wrong, but he had reasons to believe what he was doing was right. He was also Griffith at that point in time was extremely misguided. I don't believe Griffith thought at that point in time during the eclipse that he actually thought what he was doing was right. He was like heavily yandere when it came to Guts and his entire relationship. Also, Griffith kind of didn't want it to happen anyway. He didn't want Guts to come out to reach him. Griffith wanted to die. So, you know. Rip Griffith. I love Griffith though. He's like you can make the arguments though that like at the point in the eclipse was what he was doing up to him because he didn't want it to happen. It was like causality kind of thing. So yeah, I hate it too. I love my crib. My girl just bought a crib down here though too, dude. Calendar, get the hell out of before you die in Uniontown, bro. Get the fuck out of there. I don't understand why Oda would use Big Mom to free Luffy. We already had a plan. Well, that's the assumption, Eric. I think people might be jumping the gun on it. Am I going to buy Devil May Cry 5? I've only played Devil May Cry 2, and I never even beat it. Thoughts on Vic? I don't know. I don't know much to voice my own thoughts on it. I just know what the news outlets have been saying because there have been a lot of videos coming out that he's been kind of like somewhat quote unquote what they've said justified. Not like I feel like Vic is definitely fucked up, but the allegations against him I think are mostly false. But he's done some fucked up shit without a doubt. She lives in Dormont, Pittsburgh right now, but is moving into this house she just bought with her sister here in Uniontown. So between me having this house and her having hers that she's moving to the June, I'm stuck. On the real, dude, if shit ever doesn't work out for you, you are, and you need to come back to P, I got a place for you to chill. Jesus. Dude, calendar. Uniontown, bro. Like, oh my god. How bad is the violence? Is it still really bad down there? Yo, thanks for dropping by, calendar. I always appreciate when you come by. Someone that knows Uniontown. Will Luffy improve his gear second and gear third? If he gets awakening, yeah. What did I say about the chapter anyway? I said overall thoughts about the chapter, Eric, is that I thought it was an average One Piece chapter, although it left me somewhat confused because I think the tone and pacing was all over the place. And that it kind of embodied the things that I didn't really like about Wano. Yo, see it, Taito. The real question is, how does violence compare to Milwaukee? Is Milwaukee really, really bad, Cliff? I don't really know much about Milwaukee. Is it really bad? Tell Laz that him using lingo doesn't sound right when he uses it. Dude, honestly, I kind of think the same thing. Feels weird. Is he really white or is he... the shots. It's just, I like to make fun of Laz when he does that. Who is stronger, Sabo or Ace? Right now, definitively Sabo. What is wrong with Uniontown? It is a ghetto, basically. A giant ghetto. What are your top 5 One Piece arcs and how do you feel about Skypiea? Top 5. My favorite is Marineford, and then Enies Lobby, and then Arlong Park, and then what was it? What was my 4th one? I think it was Alabasta, and then Saba Odi. And then Skypiea, I think, might be my 7th favorite. I like Skypiea though. At this point, do I see Vivi joining the crew? I honestly, I can't. I can't see Vivi joining the crew. What the hell would she even do? What purpose does she serve in the crew? Honestly, like especially because Vivi is going to have so many duties even after she gets kicked out of the Alabasta by the world government and everything that happens. I just can't see her being a legitimate part of the crew. Uniontown is pretty haha, but it's home. I don't know, dude. I especially hate Uniontown because my mom's family lives in Uniontown and they are the biggest bums on the planet. And I used to live there with them and it's just bad. I hated that part of my childhood. I hated it so much. God, that place gives me so many bad memories. Fuck Uniontown, dude. Fuck. I almost got fucking abducted in Uniontown whenever I was 6, dude. Jesus Christ. I was walking down the street going back to my grandma's house, and a black car rolled up and tried to get me inside of the vehicle, and I ran away. Fuck Uniontown, dude. Who was stronger, Sabo or Marco? Sabo, in my opinion. I think you could borderline argue Sabo is close to breaching Admiral level. What happened to me joining the military? I basically got disqualified because of my allergy to peanuts. Oh, it sucks, bro. I hope she or he feels better soon, homie. And I've been good. Just lost a job and got a new one. So I've had around a month off work waiting to start this new one. Yo, hope everything goes good, calendar. But I mean, my mom doesn't live there anymore, thank God, but her family does. It also has a sad background story like other One Piece characters. I mean, my background story, I mean, it depends. Like, maybe for white people, my background story kind of sucks. But, um, I don't know. I feel like anyone that's ever lived in the ghetto instantly has a worse background story than me, especially like basically everyone in the Grove slash all of them have way worse backstories than me. Like especially Brago, probably definitely Matt. Like they definitely have to go through a lot more hardships than I do. Have I read Yaiba? I have not read Yaiba. So for the last monthish, I've been staying at my girl's crib in Pittsburgh. Got to kind of pat everything up with her throughout these past few weeks. So everything is gonna go good for me currently, bro. A. Do you think there is someone really strong that we don't know about in the Revolutionary Army between Dragon and Sabo? I actually don't. I don't. Not to you? Oh, what? Whatever, dude. Calendar, if you don't at someone, dog, it's hard. I just read everything. How can you be disqualified being allergic to peanuts? Because in the act, during wartime, so this is a what a situation. If during wartime, the government cannot guarantee what's in the food. Basically, like, because, like, you know how the rations are basically just a bunch of dog shit piled into each other and then compressed into a can? And that's what they feed the soldiers. They can't guarantee what's in the can. So if I have an anaphylactic reaction to peanuts, I'm automatically disqualified. Boyfriend reveal in the future. Jose, shut the fuck up. I didn't even know that was a disqualifier. Are they afraid that the enemy is going to throw a peanut butter at you? Oh, I just said it, but it's basically just politics. It's just politics, man. I kind of honestly I fucked up. No, you can still join Devil Link. Here's the thing. I fucked up. You can join. Lie about it. I didn't lie about it because I was being a good boy, but I should have lied about it. If I had lied about it, it wouldn't have been an issue. What has Braga been through? Way more than me. Drizzt, you have a friend that committed suicide in your backstory? Is tragic Shona. He gave you his secret flaming weapon to fulfill his will. I do have a good friend that did commit suicide though. But that's true. I do have a friend that I knew throughout middle school and high school commit suicide. It sucked. I went to the funeral with my other friend, and it was one of the hardest things to see because his parents were absolute because like they were walking down the aisle with the case, and I have never seen people bawl so hard because like you imagine the grief their son committed suicide, and they were kind of strict parents too, and it was just absolutely it was depressing. It was so crushing to watch. Lick your lips. I'm not Brago. I don't want to lie about it. What if they throw peanuts in the bitch and I get fucked up? Well, how allergic are you, dude? Like that's also in the case if we go to war. Chances are it's not going to happen, and that's just in the case of. Because I can tell you, if there was a draft right now, they wouldn't give a shit about peanuts. The peanuts shit is just for politics because of how widespread peanuts is. Yo, see you later, calendar. What happened? Oh, what happened? Oh, so basically, actually, my landlord is somewhat involved in this because it's about a girl, essentially. So my my friend, I'm gonna call him Craig. That's not his name, but I'll say his name's Craig. So Craig was in love with this other girl, right? And she had dated Brian, the guy who lives here. He's the landlord. She had dated on and off with Brian, and Craig had basically hooked up with her a lot. He was like obsessed with her. And throughout college, he went through the first year of his college. He was a genius, by the way. Like this guy was literally a genius. Um, he would be rich right now if he hadn't died because he was fucking brilliant. And he had never really had a girlfriend before, and it's kind of weird because his girlfriend, she was a bit fucked up. Honestly, she was kind of a fucked up person. Um, and basically what happened is they kept breaking up and getting back together, and eventually they just broke up for good, and she went back to doing her own thing by herself, and he was so depressed over it that he he got in his car, he drove out into the middle of the woods. He bought a handgun, went out into the middle of the woods. On his phone, he called the police and said that he found a dead body in the woods, and he hung up and he shot himself in the head. Shot himself in the head, and he had a suicide note with him. It was rough. There was like no evidence that I had seen that he would do something like that either. It sucked because the day before the funeral, I was at a bonfire with friends because we were just talking about the situation, and my close friend Darren, who I love, Darren's my bro. We were just talking about how guilty we felt and how we couldn't do anything about it. We were just like sitting there, just chilling, being bros together. We had no clue what the fuck was going on because Don was a great kid, ended his life. And what also sucks. What also sucks is that he had a younger brother. young too, like middle school, maybe freshman year of high school. And Dom pulled the trigger. And that's and they were like twins too. Like there's an age difference, but he was the spitting image of Dom. Oh, fuck, I said his name. God damn it. Well, his name was Dom. Uh there goes that. But I can't imagine what that did to the family. Because they were just gonna blame themselves. Because they were really strict with him growing up. They were really, really strict with him. Um, Part of it, they probably contributed to the lack of his mental health. To be honest, because he was because like he was a prodigy. Like when I said he was smart, he was really smart, and they knew he was smart, so they didn't let him do stuff that a normal kid would be able to do. Like he wasn't allowed to own game systems. He wanted to play games so much, but they never allowed him to own anything. He basically just had to study. He worked at the library. I worked at the library with him as well. I was a volunteer there. He worked there with his mom. They barely let him do shit. It was rough. He was very secluded. Um, the stress got to him. It's probably why he put so much focus into the girl. Yeah. How did the girl react? She basically had a mental breakdown because she thought it was her. Everyone thought it was their fault, essentially. But she was fucked up for a while. She didn't continue dating, but for an emotional support, she went back to Brian for a couple months. He would drive her around places and help her out, try and make her feel better. But she was fucked up. She was fucked up. Yeah, it's a goddamn shame. It was rough. I never thought he would be one to do that, but yeah, it was crazy. I never thought I'd be able to experience that in my life. Are they less strict on his brother now? I don't know. I wasn't good friends with his family. I was just friends with Dom. I don't know what happened with their family afterwards. Well, yeah, I mean, like you would think so, Raina, but like I only understand this now because I'm smarter. But back when I was a kid in middle school, I mean, I thought like he had stuff because he had the internet and stuff. I was like, oh, he's fine. He seemed normal. Like he was a normal kid, honestly. We used to talk all the time. We would hang out at the library all the time. We would go to like library events together. We ate at the same lunch table together every single day, and I would always make him laugh because I was like the clown at the lunch table. I was a comedian, and I would always make him laugh. And there was never any indication to me at that point in time that he would do that. He was never that kind of guy. But I mean, like you guys have probably heard stories about what happens with breakups, and you know, plus your college plus breakup. I don't know what kind of stress he was under, but it's a selfish thing to do, though. I always hated suicide. It's very, very selfish. It's the weak way out. I fucking hate suicide. Was he good at math, or why do you say he was smart? Like he was insanely good at science, physics, math, everything. Everything except English. Like he was like your stereotypical like nerd geek. He was up to date on everything technologically related. Great coder. Because I was in his coding classes as well. He was a prodigy. Why is suicide selfish? Because for multiple reasons. One, suicide is a weak way out because you're just basically. Jordan Peterson has a good bit about the ideology or the psychology behind um behind suicide. It's very nihilistic. but it's selfish because it's just. I mean, mental health sucks, but it's basically just placing all of that pain back onto someone else because you couldn't cope. Why isn't it selfish? I mean, just laugh and smile. I'm not depressed about it. It's just me remembering stuff, man. Just me remembering stuff. If I wanted to get seriously depressed, I'd remember some other things that I have suppressed within my mind that I don't think about. You know, like how I wasn't a good son. Is the only friend or person of your age that you knew that has died? Um, I think that was the only friend that I know that's died. I've had family. I've had uh I've had family die and stuff, but yeah. No more friends other than that. At least not in that way. I don't there was a I wasn't friends with her, but in middle school there was a girl, her name was I think Danielle. She died of leukemia, but I didn't really know her that well, so it didn't really sting with me. Oh fuck off, Drizzt. Not a good son. No, I was not a good son. I wasn't a good person. Um, for a long period of time. I was a really bad brother as well for most of my life, I think. Um, I was not a good younger brother to my brother, my older brother, who had way more problems than I did. I was the younger brother in my family, so I was kind of blessed because I was born young enough during the time period where my parents' divorce didn't mentally fuck me over. But my brother was just old enough; he was in the 8.5 to 9 range, where the divorce between my parents completely destroyed his entire psyche. Especially the because me and my family, because my mom took custody, because that's what usually what happens. Um, my mom took custody, and she was so financially unstable that we had to move to different towns every like 6 months to a year. So we never stayed in one place. There was no home for us essentially. Didn't really have any friends, and it affected my brother because like he was at that point in his time where he was going through puberty. He was looking for a stable life. You know, he couldn't really make friends that well because he never stayed in an area, and the stress from doing it caused him to overeat. And my brother got overweight as a result, so he could put away his depression. And yeah, man. And I would, as a kid, we would always fight as brothers, and I'll never forgive myself for it because I didn't know back then because I was just a fucking brat. But I would always used to call my brother fat, and it would bother him. It bothered him a lot because he was self conscious, but I was too fucking stupid to know anything about how he would feel because I only thought about my goddamn self, and it affected him. It affected him. Um, it fucking sucks. We had a lot of good times together, but I'll never forgive myself for that ever. And that's also my brother never forgave my parents either. He's gonna hold that resentment towards my parents for a long time. I was able to this is actually a recent thing. Like at least I opened up with my mom a month and a half ago I told her like I told her that like I appreciated what she did growing up, all the sacrifices she made to try and give me and my brother Reese a better life. And she bawled on the phone because she had been looking for validation her whole life because she had felt guilty for years and years that it was all her fault that we were sad and shit. And I told her that I understand and I loved her. And she was so happy. She was just crying tears of joy. And she just told me she wished my brother would open up about all of the things that sucked about our life. But he's not going to do that for a long period of time because it affected him way more than it affected me. It affected me too, but it affected my brother way more. That's the reason why my brother joined the Navy, was so he can get away from us. We'll get away from my dad and my mom specifically. Me and Reese have a really good relationship, but yeah, he wanted to get away from that shit. Have I apologized? No, I never really apologized to Reese. No, it's one of those things where it's like if you know your brother, it's like it is something you do not talk about because he does not want to even broach the subject. He does not want to talk about it, and I know him. I know him like the back of my hand. That's why I tell my parents all the time is they don't understand. They don't understand him like I understand him, because I mean, we've talked about it a little bit before, but I just know because we're brothers. I fucking know him. So it's my big bro. And he's gonna hold it. He's gonna hold it for a while, just like my dad. My dad held his resentment for my grandpa till after my grandpa died, or after he lost his mind as well when he got Alzheimer's. Is my bro okay? Yeah, my brother is fine. He's got a girlfriend. He lives in Rhode Island, and he's going to college. He's out of the Navy. He's in college, so. Would you forgive a kid who would do that to someone else while not knowing better? Because that's how kids are. Snickers is getting the hands apparently, but I don't know. It's really hard to just forgive yourself for stuff like that because Reese deserves so much better. He also got like the most punishment for the most part, you know, because he was the older brother, so a lot of the responsibility was on him. I was just a selfish younger brother who's just living in the moment. I just wanted to fucking do what I wanted to do. My brother was older, responsible, more mature, also more secluded. That was also a result of my parents' marriage is that because it made my brother have a harder time to make friends. He secluded himself in other ways. Part of the way he coped though with being depressed is he used to read Dostoevsky. It's spelled neither of those ways, devil. It's Reese, the second one, it's Reece. One piece level backstory right here. I mean, it's not that bad. It's just, I mean, it affects me because, I mean, I'm sensitive towards it, but so many people I know have had worse than me. This is about the girl with the bleeding face that I actually injured with my own hands. Yeah, this shit hurts, dude. Things you take to your grave. How's my interview? It went great, Damon. Where do you think you would be without One Piece or YouTube? Gamer. I would be just playing games all the time. I think you're a little bit rough on you when it comes to this. I understand that, but you were young. I don't think there's a way I can be too rough. I mean, it just no. I mean, you guys don't know the younger me. I am nothing like I am now. In some ways I am, but in a lot of ways I'm not. I was a really different person when I was younger. Brothers Karamazov. Yep. Yo, shots to you, Drizzt. What do you think about the Nine Samurais? Is Kyoshiro a good guy or bad? I think he'll end up being a good guy. And realizing that and also suffering for that is also a way that you said makes you like a character more. Does that logic work here too? It's that logic would normally work. It's like, listen, I don't beat myself up over it. I normally don't try to think about this stuff because I just try to suppress it. But I don't know. We're understanding why you the cynic now, the backstory though. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily why I'm a cynic. Um my cynicism, I don't know. I've always been an asshole, but my cynicism as it is now pertains to me becoming more educated as well. Shut up, Snickers. You just fucking. What games do I play? Right now, I only play Smite, really. Never forgiving yourself sounds rough. I can't forgive myself until someone else forgives me. That's how it works. Like, I'll only forgive myself for what the shit brother I was whenever my brother forgives me. And I don't even know if he resents me, but I resent me. I kind of look like Peter Griffin. I'll take that to heart. Have I always liked cats? Yep, I love animals. I've always loved animals. I do give Ty a hard time sometimes. Yeah, that's when the worst of me comes out is whenever I talk to Ty, dude. I just become impulsive. Yeah, I don't know. I forgave my parents though for what they did, or the actions or the life that we had. It's what formed me who I am today. But I mean, I was for a while I was resent. I mean, I didn't really understand it that much until I was older, and by the time I was older, I was able to look at it with my understanding and kind of accept it. Whereas it was easier for me because mine wasn't as traumatizing as what it was for my brother. But yeah, as long as you're good now, I'm glad you're precious to us. I mean, I'm good now, but I mean, I don't know if I've ever been depressed. But I mean, I've done things that a normal person probably wouldn't think. I don't know. My Gear 4 argument is AIDS. You're AIDS, Eric. How about that? No, you. I don't know. I still mean it when I say I was a bad son, though. That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. What kind of books do I read? I love fantasy. The reason I love fantasy has to do with my backstory as well. I love fantasy because it was a way for me to escape. Now I can reason this now. I didn't know back then. I just did it because it just felt to me. But I love fantasy because it was a way for me to escape my life and go into these magical worlds. Um, but yeah, love epic fantasy. Love fantasy in general. Love magic. Drizzt brother. He occasionally does stop in here. Just so you guys know, occasionally he will stop by. You're AIDS bitch. Now you fucking smell, Eric. Australian. Have you seen The Abyss and thought about jumping into it? Yeah, I have. Impulsively, just like out of nowhere. Like I've told you guys before, it's not even prompted. I'll randomly think about suicide sometimes. It's just like randomly unprompted. Like I'm feeling 100% fine, but how do you feel about these past few years of growing and connecting with so many people online? I really love it and I cherish it, Burger, but at the same time, I resent it. Because I think it's partially to blame for my own shortcomings that I have right now. Because I still think I use it as a coping mechanism. And I kind of use it as a way to distance myself away from the world so I don't have to interact with it. Which is partly the reason why I'm a loner. Now, being a loner isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I don't need, as I told you guys before, to function, I do not need any human contact whatsoever. I can just talk to you guys online and be perfectly satisfied with my life. I don't need to talk to real life people if I didn't have to. And it shows in my actions, I think. Would I read your shitty comic? Yeah, I read it. How do I feel? Okay, that's that. Am I cool with my brother? Yeah, me and my brother are cool. Yeah, we're cool. Boy, that's racist. Nah, it's just fact. My mom loves me. My mom loves me because she's a wonderful woman. You told us you wanted to drive off the side of the road and crash once. Yeah, especially on the highway. I don't know why, but on the high, because it would only be next to the guardrail. Where I'd be like, what if I just drove into the guardrail and we'll see what happens? It was on some real petty shit too. Like, I know why I wanted to do it, and I realized while it was like an impulse. I was like, that's fucking retarded. I would just be zoning out because when you drive, especially on the highway, you just zone out. You're just that's when it would come to me whenever I was zoning out. Favorite type of hentai? Dojin or hentai? Like hentai, like anime hentai. Like being a YouTuber is like therapy, just like being in a community. I mean, it can be. Of course, there are things that can be detrimental to it in a certain way. I mean, they've been doing studies on this for a while. It still needs more time on it, but there are concerns and studies about the effects of just social media / the online world in general. You should read the novel I read. I think it's for you. I should do you the service. Have I ever been mauled by a bear? No, but I've had my life. I felt threatened by a bear before because I used to hunt. Everyone needs human interaction to some extent. Nobody's 100% an island. I could be an island. I think. Honestly, it's a disposition I have, but it's also somewhat family related because so my pap after my grandma died, which was his human contact for a long period of time, as well as my dad, his sisters and shit. Basically secluded himself in his house, didn't do anything unless people came over to visit him. Which people they visited him because they thought he needed help, but he didn't go out to look for it. My dad is basically a loner. He is perfectly content doing nothing, and just chilling. It does not affect him whatsoever. That's partly why we liked hunting so much, is that we could just be alone in the woods. And there's a kind of solace being alone. Like the life of a hermit. There's a kind of solace in it, a sort of peacefulness. Rather than my own? No, not yet. Oh, I fully agree. It's like, yeah, I could die right here and now, but then you're like, eyes. I don't know. It's like, half the reason I think I thought about that is like from a psychological standpoint. The reason I thought about doing that, like just going off the side of the road, I think it was just a means of just wanting attention. Because the ideology behind doing that is like, oh yeah, if I just go off the side of the road right now, I'll die, I won't get hurt, and then people will worry about me, and then like I'll feel validated. I think that's the reason why a lot of that thought happens, just like sporadically like that. At least that's the psychological reason I would give for it. Have I read or watched Claymore? Claymore? I read Claymore. Yep. Ever fought a kangaroo? No. You would go mad without human interactions? Have you seen the movies? I mean, it depends. I mean, people have gone without human interaction for a long period of time and been fine. Like, if you just had social media or just like YouTube or like a TV, you could go a long, long time without human interaction. Yeah, you'd probably be a weird-ish kind of person. Depends on how rational you are as well. Your IQ matters. Who I live with, my best friends. Just 10 minutes earlier, I love animals. Now I go hunting regularly. No, I've been a hunter since I've been 8 years old, but I love animals. Part of my appreciation for animals came from me hunting them. How do you feel with the roommate life? I mean, I'm a bad roommate too. It doesn't really bother me. I mean, I still seclude myself in my room. I love being alone. I go out there when I need to go out there, but like I don't know, I'm a bad roommate. I just kind of chill until I'm needed, essentially. Drew has helped me, even though I'm not fully in the community yet. But I did get in a Braga stream with you, even though it was an epic fail. Yeah, the fails are always the best. You'll see you later, Eric. Have I read out? I have not. How long could you live without any internet and no human interaction? Say you're the last man on Earth. I could probably live my full life. I could just read books. I like reading books. So I could read books for a long period of time. I could go on hikes. I could walk around in the wilderness. I could just do nothing. I could draw. I could do things to fill my time. I could fantasize. I mean, yeah, I'd probably get lonely or depressed a lot, but I would be able to function. What are my roommates like? Um, they are very, very social with each other, at least. They like doing stuff together all the time. Mostly just gaming related, as well as just being around each other. They usually have the same interests. I don't always have the same interests as my friend because I'm kind of like a One Piece character post time skip. I remain pretty static and unchanging throughout time, and like I don't go out of my way to be a part of their life, which makes me a bad friend. Do I play basketball or some shit? I used to play backyard sports all the time. Like I can get along with people just perfectly fine, honestly. Like I could get along with people perfectly fine. It's just like I don't need interaction. I like talking to people and shit and hanging out's fun, but I also really, really value my alone time. You'll see you later, AMG. You could only do that for 2 months. I don't know. I think I could do that for a while, dude. Honestly, I think I could do that for a while. The post time comparison. That's right. Remember when I sent you the tweet of how factories in the background of the first few chapters of Wano and how it got confirmed to be the supply for Doflamingo? I do remember that. To post time skip, did you rough? Yep. Is the YouTube anime and beta crew your closest friends? No, my closest friends are definitely the people who are living with me right now. They know me the best. They know me way more than you guys know me. We just like it's kind of like me and my brother. How me and my brother know each other really, really well. We also know each other really, really well, like the back of our hands. But we don't talk to each other about important shit unless like it will sometimes randomly come up. Usually, I'll talk about it, if anything, because I'll question them because I'm usually more concerned about them than myself. If we do talk about it. Sometimes that will happen if we get into fights, but Brago and the boys, I mean, like, I would consider them close friends. What's up, RMJ? You missed a lot, yeah. This review, it was a review, Jeet, but it turned into another stream, so I'm going to cancel the review and upload that separately. I'll have to cut it. Do I prefer One Piece pre-time skip or post? Pre-time skip heavily. Think you could last 3 days in a white room like Vsauce? If you just gave me a bed, yeah, I could sleep for 3 days. I know nothing about you, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, how much do you guys think, like, outside of me just opening up to you guys here, like what kind of person do you think it takes to open up to you? Like, this is something that Brago specifically avoids in his streams, right? For me, I don't care. Like, you have to think about what kind of personality it takes to even have that to begin with, like the non-care. I mean, like, you guys know like the One Piece persona of myself, but you don't know, like, it's like I would be chilling out. Like, if all of the One Piece people would chill with each other, they would be doing One Piece stuff, right? It's different because there's like a different clique. So you play Smite. Oh shit! What is your opinion on the current state of the game and your favorite class? I love hunters. Current state of the game. I mean, Smite is probably the most balanced it's been in a while, but the dual lane is undoubtedly the most cancerous and boring it's ever been in the history of Smite. And that's saying a lot because we've gone through the Golden Bow meta, we've gone through the last couple seasons of meta. The dual lane is, since the new map has been introduced, it's been absolutely awful because you get no XP, you don't do damage, and you just farm so you can kill structures. It fucking blows dick, and you get ganked at level 1 by the jungler who gets level 2 before you can even get level 2. So, but overall, I mean, the game is somewhat balanced. It's a little static. The dual meta is absolutely cancerous. I love your Next series, but I can't always watch the whole series. That is the reason I don't watch Tekken. Can you upload most of the interesting parts of the discussion in another video, like 10 to 15 minutes? I don't know. It's I would like to do that, G, but that would be kind of redundant, and also it probably wouldn't look good for me because a lot of people do watch the full thing, and me uploading snippets would basically just look bad on me in terms of like content. If anything, there would have to be a separate channel that basically just like it's like Drizzt clips or something, you know? What console do I play on? I don't play on console. I play on PC. PC brethren. Been playing PC since I think the end of season 1, or was it in the? Or did I play the full season 1? think I might have played full of season 1. Who do I prefer more, Sanji or Ty? Ty any day of the week. I know you're from Pennsylvania. That's right. PA brethren, baby. Also, what's up, Cody? Who'd win in a fight, a polar bear or a gorilla? If that polar bear was Steve, Cody, I would pick Steve any day of the week. Money on Steve. But, I mean, gorillas are really, really strong. Low attention span much? I mean, yeah. Dude, it's 12:45 a.m. here. My attention span is 0. What was the most edgiest thing you did as a kid? Edgiest? I don't know. Whenever I was in 6th grade, I was 100% emo. Probably something around that point in time. I can tell you the most cringiest thing I've done. I ran like Inuyasha for a little bit. That was fucking awful. I hate myself. Yeah, I don't know, Senato, you know me. Ron started. Was it the start? I always forget. Where am I from? Pennsylvania. Do my parents know about my YouTube channel? Yeah, they do. My dad was actually very, very interested in my YouTube channel. He thought I could make it into a thing. What happened to the neck with Mr. Morge? It got yeeted into non-existence by the One Piece chapters. It's completely out of date now. It's a useless discussion because we're both wrong in it. What's one series you love but everyone else doesn't? I don't know. An anime series? Probably Trinity Blood. Something like that. But yeah. 10K soon? Yeah, we've been getting mad subs. You could still make it into a thing. I mean, the chances of it are highly unlikely. It would take maybe 3 years from now. I could potentially make it into a thing. But at that point in time, it would not be a super stable thing because One Piece could be ending-ish around that time. So I would have to like switch mediums after a few more years. Can I beat Tekken in a One Piece trivia? No. It depends on what the topics are. But if it's like devil fruit names, nope, he's got me beat. He's got me beat on virtually every category. The only things I'd probably know are over him are quotes. Quotes from the series, I would probably be able to say who said the quotes more than Tekken. Because I've been in a One Piece trivia with Tekken before. Most of the stuff is like generic, like what's the name of this fruit? What's this person's bounty? You know, that stuff I don't remember. I remember quotes though. Have I played Jump Force? No. Also, see a Neptune. Well, I called you Neptune this time, but I've been calling you Devil like the entire stream. Yo, it's time for me to fucking get off. How old were you when you first saw One Piece? For me, it was in elementary school. I'm 20 now. Well, the first time I saw One Piece was on 4Kids. And on the demo game that came with Shonen Jump whenever I was like, I want to say 8 or 9. But I didn't watch One Piece until I was 19. But yeah. Speaking of which, I feel like I've run this. I'm actually gonna end the stream this time. For real. After I answer Jeet's question, how long do I think the remaining active Wano will be? I think maybe another 7 to 8 chapters. But anyway, I will actually end the stream this time. For real. So thanks for dropping by, everyone. This randomly went into a serious stream. So thanks for dropping by. Maybe I'll upload the serious part. I don't know. We'll see. Why was it?
You know what, Cody? Actually, I love Ed and Eddie, but I think I actually kind of like Courage the Cowardly Dog the most, dude. To be honest. When is the next? Sometime Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, Satanic. But anyway, thanks for dropping by. See ya.